HyperNation, where no man will ever get to. Ha ha ha. Hi, I'm Danny the Heck. Thanks for tuning into my video. A friend of mine rang me. He started watching this video that I'm about to do a talk over on, and he said, you won't believe it. He said, you'll need to download an explosion of a nuclear bomb because there's moments in this video which is just ridiculous, and I'm going to expose each and every one of them. I do have a disclaimer, and it's not that I'm not a financial advisor, because I'm not giving you any financial advice. I'm telling you to stay away from Ponzi schemes and stop giving away your crypto. If you want to help me help you and others, please hit the thumbs up button, because that will tell YouTube that you like my video, and it will get it out to other YouTube areas where there's lots of traffic, helping people with such like matters. First of all, I'd like to talk about my picture. So that's number 5. That's better. Right, now, first of all, for Dummies, this is a community plan walkthrough. Now, what they've done, they've been waiting for, since the 15th of July, theoretically, everyone was forced to buy a yellow NFT for 100 USDT. Boom. So people who had money in Hyperfund and they couldn't get it out were now told that if they want to stay with this scammy group, they need to invest more money to buy a ticket to HyperNation. So that was meant to happen on the 15th of July, and people that didn't receive their initial investment, so if you invested $300, anyone that hadn't got the initial investment back, that was going to be repaid manually. But they're having a problem figuring out real people from people who have multiple accounts. So it's all mayhem. So that will never happen. That is just something to get you to spend another 100. So people are too far invested in here to walk away from HyperVerse, and they're looking at their Monopoly money going, oh my goodness, I've got all this money, I better be a good boy. Anyway, long story short, it hadn't happened. They delayed it 10 days, and then they delayed it 3 days, and now it is past the 3 days, and they've released a PDF, which is amazing. So this is what they're doing now in this video. They're sitting here. These are the leaders of HyperNation and HyperFun trying to decipher what this actually means. And it's breathtaking that they're still trying to preach this message. Truly, I've been part of a religious cult. This is on the same level. Unbelievable. I've even got a message that I'm going to get you to show you from Keith Williams, who's decided to rub some salt in my wounds, so to speak, from his opinion. All right, and the other thing, if you look at that picture along the bottom, you can see all the people that have been part of HyperVerse, HyperFun, and Colin Starr Group, and Group Tech Group, I can't remember, but anyway, they're all involved. And there is 4 people who are the big people. You've got Keith Williams, I've got the new guy on the block, I don't even know what his name is. The lady in the background, she's from Rotterdam, so I'm assuming that she may be his partner. I'm just guessing. Ironically, this guy starts with V, which I'll get right by the end of this video. If he's from Rotterdam, my stepfather was from Rotterdam, and he passed away at the age of 36. And if you want to be nosy and figure out why, I'll make a video pop up about my life being a Jehovah's Witness in the past, which I'm not now. I left it about 29 years ago, a long time ago. Anyway, so that's my picture. Now, it's something really interesting which I want to share with you. Now, you see some pretty good animation, CGI animation, and all this stuff can actually be purchased on the internet. So, you know, when you see these pictures, I'm just going to enlarge that, and they have HyperNation all over them. It looks like they have designed them to help you imagine what it's actually going to be like, and also it looks like they're their pictures. Well, they're not. They're all from Shutterstock. Shutterstock. Now, if you go down here and you go into Google Images, if you want to know how to do this, and you can actually take a snippet of a picture and then do a search for it, and it will show you all the other places that image has been used. It will also show you like-minded images. But looking down here, we click on this one here, you can actually see a lot of the same artwork that HyperNation have been showing off to you what the HyperNation is going to look like, are actually all from Shutterstock. I've got to get that right, don't I? So that was quite interesting. And the lady that's at the very start of the video, which you can't see right now, her name was D.OK. Now, I found did a search for her. I did go to her Facebook page, but I'm also going to read some of the reviews that she's wrote in Trustpilot, and I've got a real hooker for you there. So I'll just do that.
Best opportunity in this space. It has sustainability, and it's fair from the bottom to the top. Find me on Facebook if you have any questions. See past the online opinions from people who don't even have membership and go for facts and proof. Diaka flag of the United Kingdom.
Brilliant. I've also got another video I want to encourage you to watch. My mate Rob Woolley, he's produced his very first HyperNation video, and he's gone through here and just uses some human logic with it. It's an hour 20 long, well worth a watch. I'll make that pop up now or later on if I bring him up again. Anyway, so as you can see, Trustpilot originally, I think it had about 250 5-star reviews about HyperVerse. And now you can see this warning at the top. I'm going to get it read to you because I'm dyslexic. If I try to read it, it would be terrible.
Warning. We've detected misuse on this page.
Ooh,
we've detected
really?
a number of fake reviews for this
No
company,
way.
and we've removed them. If additional suspicious reviews are discovered on this profile, we'll remove those too. If you believe a review is fake, you can report it using the flagging tool. We take the integrity of our platform very seriously, and when we uncover misuse, we take action and alert our community to it.
Wow, look at that, eh? So there you go. So a lot of people were using those Trustpilot reviews to say that it's a good thing. Look at all the happy people. And now we can see there's a lady that is about to come on the screen for about 5 seconds. She wrote that review. So I found her over here as well. I'm going to read that one out as well, just so you know.
Love it. This delivers on every level. Do your due diligence on the owners instead of reading hate written by people who clearly don't understand what we have here. It's transparent and fair. If you want my experience as an actual member, you can find me on Facebook. I'm happy to answer questions. D okay?
Okay, so what she's actually saying, D, is that she's happy to give you her referral link, which doesn't seem to be the case. You can't do that now. But here's one from Kalpesh Patel. I wonder if it's the real Kalpesh Patel, but you have a listen to this. This is funny.
I've tried flogging many scams over the years, but Hyperfund is by far the best. It's made me a millionaire. I have to constantly tell people it's not a pyramid because it's actually a Ponzi. But who cares anyway? I'm living it up in Dubai where the financial authorities won't care. Keep investing, guys. Don't forget to use my referral code. P.S. Please don't Google the words Kalpesh Patel scam when doing your due diligence. Just believe what me and Ryan say, and you'll be fine.
Boom. I'm just going to look at his other 2 reviews. It shouldn't do things that I haven't prepared for. It's the same review twice. I don't know. One's Hyperfund H5 and the other one is there. So good on you, Kalpesh, telling the truth. That's really cool. All right, so let's get into it. What else do I wanted to show you? Yeah, so I've got a double mode here, which means I can we can actually go through. With a bit of luck, we can go through. Now, what I am going to do before we get started is actually make you listen to the disclaimer. And think about this disclaimer as you listen to it before we even get started, because they ignore the disclaimer because everyone knows what it says. But I'm going to make you listen to it.
HyperNation. All the information provided has yet to be finalized, and changes may occur in the foreseeable future. A world of exclusive rewards within HyperNation. HyperNation. All the information provided has yet to be finalized, and changes may occur in the foreseeable future. The information provided to you in this documentation should at all times be considered general information concerning blockchain, cryptocurrency, and possible opportunities to participate in new ventures provided by these technology. Under no circumstances shall this document be considered as any type of solicitation, investment, or financial advice. Information is provided to you in general terms without taking notice of your specific personal and financial situation. Participation in this project involves risk. It is on the best efforts basis, and there is a risk of loss of part or all of the funds. Prior results are nothing more than a reflection of the past, without being any guarantee of future performance. The viewers need to evaluate the risks inherent to participating on their own behalf. We suggest you to seek the advice of a suitably qualified professional who can help you take relevant decisions after evaluating your personal and financial situation. Your continued viewing of the documentation indicates your acceptance of the terms above. HyperNation is a sovereign nation for everyone in the virtual universe. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty in this world, HyperNation upholds a general consensus that will ultimately benefit everyone both in the metaverse and the real world. The economic consensus based on universal basic income will be transparency, fairness, equality. HyperNation offers not only a place for socializing, but a place where information is nurtured and propagated across the infinite space of the virtual realm. HyperNation is the great roof that shall shelter us against the storm of ignorance and violence. All the information provided has yet to be finalized, and changes may occur in the foreseeable future. HyperNFT is a comprehensive first-level NFT platform.
I got carried away there. Forget all that. But basically, I selected the disclaimer. I must have selected the whole document. I'm going to bore you to death and let you read it. But you can see that there's obviously, that's what I call a shit sandwich, where they put all the greasy stuff. So there's other stuff that's really, really good. You've got to stay with us on this one. There's the lady I was talking about. She's from Rotterdam. Looks like she's been promoting Hyper Fund for quite a long time. So my purpose of my videos is really to expose, name and shame anyone that's out there trying to peddle this Ponzi scheme so they can build their downline. I get emails from people every day telling me that they've lost all their money and they trusted a friend or a family member or a colleague who suggested that they get involved in such a Ponzi scheme, not knowing it was a Ponzi scheme, and they really thought they could get 3, 4, or 5 times their investment. Now, these guys have done everything that leadership have told them to do, and now leadership have got down to 4 people trying to convince people that they don't even understand what's about to happen. No one can actually say it better than the people themselves, so let's start the video and let's see what they say. As I said, I haven't watched much of this, but the start of it was pretty breathtaking. Hello.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Pinakee.
Pinakee is wearing the same shirt that he did the other day. So he's not a fashion guru. I won't tell you what I think he is.
I brought Vivian O'Callaghan onto the call because we're going to...
So I don't know who Vivian is. Now I've got his name right, but he's a splitting image of my stepfather. So maybe, and he seems like he's from Rotterdam, which is amazing. And he's got an NFT chair, which would be something that might appear on the Hypermall. Oh no, we can't. The Hypermall fell over too, didn't it?
Break through the rewards plan that's just been released for HyperNation. Again, this is us sort of going through it step by step and just trying to break it down so that we can give you an overview of what we perceive it to be. So this is purely what we see, not what we've been told. Because
I don't know who tells them and feeds them this dribble, to be honest. It's obviously they talk about corporate. They talk about even the disclaimer that I just read out the whole 9 yards of. I don't know who's going to prosecute these guys because there is no one to prosecute at the moment. And my friend Rob and I do actually believe that Keith Williams and Mick are the people behind this, and even Kalpesh Patel, because all the things that are happening at the moment seem like a brilliant exit strategy to walk away with millions of dollars. I worked out the other day that this could be a $10 billion scam, and that is simply because they tell me that they have 450 or 500 VIP 5s. Now, to be a VIP 5, you actually need to have recruited over 2,000 people. Now, the minimum investment was 300 or 400. Let's take 400. We times that by 2,000. There we go. We have $8 million that every VIP has brought in for HyperVerse or HyperFund or now HyperNation. And they're spending your money, I can tell you. And now if you times 2,000 by 500, you get a whopping $4 billion. Now, not everyone has done the minimum investment, have they? No, they've decided to do, they're banking their future, so they put as much money as they can. So I'm estimating this could be, if not a $10 billion or more scam. And so these guys, don't underestimate these guys. They're trying to side with you guys into thinking they don't really know what's going on. They're also trying to make out that corporate is some mystery team that they're getting fed information from. Now, anyone could have produced this PDF. Who knows? But who's corporate? And if you were to invest in any company, would you want to invest in a company who you didn't know who the founders were? Even, it's just ridiculous.
We haven't been told anything yet. None of us who have basically got a purple box and upwards know anything at all yet.
Right, purple box, $10,000. Platinum box, $100,000. They have given, I reckon these guys have been scammed. This is brilliant.
But in a way, it's a good way to see this with a fresh set of eyes.
And we can hardly see his eyes. He really needs a front camera light. If you're looking to get some, I recommend aperture lights. Cost you about $1,000, and seeing you've got $1 million a month out of this so far, it's not much to pay for good lighting.
Just to see what changes they've made and what we see going forwards of the potential of this. So again, this is just our overview. So let's go ahead. Go ahead, Vivian.
Yeah, so look, I suppose I'll share a screen first and I get the document up, which is here. But just to, I suppose, very quickly say, obviously everyone here is familiar with HyperVerse, and as a general system, it was excellent. But as can be the case, and then as human nature, people can try and find ways around it without adding any value to the system. So, you know, what were the problems? What was it within HyperVerse that caused the issues we've had over the last few months and caused that liquidity to be pulled out? There was probably sort of three-pronged issues there. Number one was, you know, someone could put in, you know, 100 grand, build a structure, suck money out of the system, and never take any part whatsoever in anything to do with HyperVerse. Obviously, that is someone that adds zero value to it. And if you're adding zero value, how can you expect to take out value without it causing problems to the structure and the company behind it? That was one issue. A second issue would be people, for example, who could bring in 2, 3, 4, you know, big people in the MLM industry, let them do their thing, build up a structure underneath you where you yourself, you know, are doing very little or nothing, and again reap, you know, very significant rewards doing very little or adding very little value to the system. And the third one, I think, is, you know, the company were putting in various products and services.
The third one, sorry about it, guys, had a bit of a malfunction. I don't know if you know how I go about recording stuff, and you don't want to know, but I have literally got like 8 screens open at the same time, and I've got one which is playing up, and it just caused disruption. But anyway, back to Vivian.
In the back office, and there was nothing to, you know, a lot of people were not using it in any way at all, and I'll put my hand up, I wasn't using them initially. And again, you know, they were creating something that could give us value, but also create value for the company, which in turn allows them to keep the whole process moving. And that wasn't happening either. So they were the 3 sort of issues, I think, that the old HyperVerse and now HyperNation were looking at these problems and looking how they could address them. And the beauty about what we've looked at this so far is I think they've figured it out, and they have a very clever way of putting this together, I believe. But so with those sort of issues in mind, it's worth having that as your base point looking through this process, I think. So do you want to add anything to that, Pinakee, before I go on?
No, I think you're absolutely right. This is, you know, we all learn from past mistakes or past things that have gone on. That's the way, you know, we all learn. So, you know, this is, you know, almost part of the learning curve. We're also moving into a whole new industry. So we've got to remember that HyperVerse was quite simple, almost like a one-trick pony, which had a few extra bells and whistles. But HyperNation is a whole completely different ball game, and the potential of it is way more.
I think Keith Williams must be kind of pissed off he's brought in Pinakee Naik, because I think everything that people bought into originally was getting 3 times your investment and not having to do anything. No one gave you any instructions that now you had to become a crusade for HyperVerse or HyperFund or whatever it was you signed up for. And now, as you watch this, they're actually telling you that you need to actually become an ambassador for them. And the shocking moment that I'm going to tell you now is that if you speak out about them, you're going to have your account removed. So if you speak negatively about this group, they're going to remove your account and your rewards. Imagine going to your bank and investing money, and then your bank says, we don't like your attitude, and then taking your money and telling you to piss off. That's amazing. Anyway, let's carry on. Hopefully it will get better. It's pretty boring at the moment.
So I think it's interesting as we go through this plan, you know, what you'll see, what we break it down to be. So go ahead.
Corruption,
let's see
fraud.
First slide.
A few names.
Yeah, so let's get cracking on this. So if we you know, we go through, I'm not going to read out the disclaimer. I think anyone can look at that another time. That's not.
I've read that out for you guys, but this information is provided in this document should be considered as general information concerning, yes, and they've got every disclaimer in there. No guarantee from past performance. I think that's a laugh, don't you? No guarantee from past performance. So you've just left one Ponzi scheme that taken your money, promising to pay back the money that you invested, and then all the rewards that they claimed they were going to give you are going to be paid back one day from a different entity that has got no money coming in. It's just ridiculous. And now they want you to invest in another one. You've all been scammed out of $100 and $10,000 and some $100,000 just to enter the HyperNation. And now they're releasing this document telling you that you've got investment opportunities within HyperNation. So now you need, or the way I see it so far, is you need to invest more money. This just gets more ridiculous. And they've still got their little sheep following along.
What we're here to do.
Yes.
It's probably worth reading through this just to get the general idea of what it's about. And so maybe I'll do that quickly. But
Yes.
HyperNation is a sovereign nation for everyone in the virtual universe. Amidst the chaos and uncertainty in this world, HyperNation upholds a general consensus that will ultimately benefit everyone, both in the metaverse and real world. The economic consistency base of a universal basic income, transparency, fairness, equality. HyperNation offers not only a place for socializing, but a place where information is nurtured and propagated across the infinite space of the virtual realm. HyperNation is the great roof that shall shelter us against the storm of ignorance and violence. So, look, I think it was just worth reading.
Are you believing this crap that they're preaching to you? This sounds like the start of a video game.
I'm not going to comment any further on that.
Yeah.
This is probably important, all right. So, Hyper NFT is a comprehensive first level NFT platform for NFT digital assets on chain, issuance, exposure, whitelist casting, and acquisition. It has a rich whitelist of NFT minting types, and users can mint NFTs directly from the projects.
Okay, so non-fungible tokens means that when you buy an NFT, they're one of a kind. Now, what he's telling you is they're going to mint NFTs, which means they're going to produce them, just like you'd get a $100 note, and then you would have whatever they call that, I forgot what they call them now. I've had them made myself, but you have it made up, your stamp or your whatever it's called. The printing press uses them. Anyway, and then they're going to mint them, which is just stupid that they're going to say this. Now, another video, I've got 3 videos I'm allowed to put on a video. It's going to pop up. There's a video from a guy called CoffeeZilla, and they've just done a really good talk to a guy that has shown the flaws in NFTs, which you've got to watch. If you're thinking that NFTs are the way to go, NFTs are overdone and dusted. And the fact that they're talking about minting NFTs is just ridiculous terminology.
Site. So, I mean, in general terms, and we might come back to that, for anyone that is aware of OpenSea and what it's about, I think this NFT platform are aiming to be a competitor to OpenSea. And like OpenSea is absolutely massive, turns huge money, has massive NFT opportunities on there. And if you
everything's an opportunity when somebody's trying to scam you, don't want to miss out on an opportunity.
Can get on to, if you were able to be aware of good projects at their minting stage, the potential in them is completely massive. So this system here is going to allow us.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've been looking at these NFTs that have coming out. Now, I'm sure they're computer generated, which means AI generated means that you'd get 12 images. I don't know how many default images they've got. Then you'd run 1,000 presets over them, for the use of a better word. And then voila, now you have 120,000 unique images. I mean, are you kidding me? It's just an image stored on a hard drive. And going to CoffeeZilla, it's real cool because he's basically saying these images are stored on a hard drive, and the address, the gold map to find the image is stored on the blockchain. Because if they did store all these images on the blockchain, the cost would just be horrendous. They couldn't afford to do it. This is the downfall of the blockchain, is it runs on state-of-the-art computers. They take a lot of electricity, not very good for the environment, the ecosystem, and they just simply cannot sustain hosting NFTs. So all NFTs are hosted on a hard drive somewhere, and the only thing that is hosted on the blockchain is the gold map or the address to where the file sits somewhere on someone's hard drive.
See these NFTs at a very early stage, but I think we'll
NFTs are over, not early stage. All right, I'll stop interrupting. Just getting excited about this. This is ridiculous that they want people to believe this crap. Now, I will say one other thing. If you give me thumbs up, much appreciated. It gets this video out to YouTube more. Now, I watched a video the other day, which I did go live on my YouTube live, and it was educating the black community, the, what do they call it? African, the black African community, how to actually purchase crypto and how to actually buy an NFT so they could go into the HyperNation. And honestly, 4 in a row, people were bamboozled by using a computer. Most of these people were trying to buy the NFTs on their phone. They don't even own a computer. And these guys are literally going after the poor, and maybe they're not so educated with technology, and scamming them. And it is just like when I used to be a Jehovah's Witness. I mentioned this in another video. We used to knock on people's doors and they would say they're not interested. And people would say, we told them. We told them. We didn't care. The reason we didn't care, we were knocking on the door until we found someone that was looking for what we called the truth at the time. And then we would preach them our message about the purpose of the earth and the whole 9 yards, which I wish I never did, but I did. That's part of my history. All right, so these guys are doing the same. They're not going to the educated people who know better. They're going to the low educated people and telling them a fantastic story of a paradise world, just like I did when I was in the cult. And it's disgusting that they keep on going through people. Now, they'll run out of those people. Now, these are the people that build the pyramid. There's only so many dummies out there that believe and don't do their due diligence and listen to a friend or a family member or a colleague. And they're the ones these guys are actively going after so they can deceive them. They don't care if they can't convince the world. They're just going over after the low-hanging fruit.
Is it that? Creators usually experience a high barrier, so people that create the actual NFTs of entry into the NFT market. Hence, the NFT, Hyper NFT, lowers this by acting as a gathering place for high-quality blue-chip projects. The distribution platform gives exposure to high-quality projects at the same time accumulates users for the early stage of the projects and reduces the operational burden. In other words, it's easier for the people creating in the NFTs. It gives huge opportunity for people like us that get to see them first. And that's, of course, a huge advantage for people bring the NFTs to the platform because they get exposure. Probably one of the hardest things to do when you create an NFT. The Hitchhiker of the Star is the sole NFT survey as a passport into HyperNation. That's important to know. The leading virtual nation that strives to bring freedom.
Now, interesting enough, how much is an NFT worth? This is the same as crypto. Like, if I bought a yellow NFT from HyperVerse, can I sell it? If I did sell it, who am I going to sell it to? You tell me. So it's only worth as much as someone else is going to pay. So the worth is not a valuable thing you bought. You're basically throwing your money into the wind, like King Solomon. Hey, Keith, you know all about King Solomon being a religious guy and all. Yeah, so what I'm saying is basically it's only worth as much as somebody else is prepared to pay. Would you buy one if you didn't know about all this caper, or would you already have one? You know what I'm saying?
Quality and human rights to the world. Note that the HOS can be exclusively purchased at only 2 platforms, Hyper NFT and OpenSea NFT, and we'll probably touch on that too a little later when we're talking about the green box.
So hang on, give me a couple of minutes, and I'll give you a sort of breakdown overview of this page, because this page is probably one of the most important.
Agreed.
Because when you sort of look at this, you think, okay, we've sort of read off what it says on there, but what does it actually mean to you? And the answer is, when you enter HyperNation, if we go back to the days of HyperVerse, and the concept of that is how they were going to, launch new.
Do you feel like these guys are making this up as they go? These are the leaders. Pinakee has recruited over 2,000 people. And I presume the other guys are VIP 5, which they're probably doing away with now.
Crypto projects and bring them to market, and we would get a reduced price, etc. This is basically the next generation of that. You're in HyperNation, and the only way in is basically when you have your Hitchhiker of Star passport. That's your NFT. That's your window into this world. What this means is anybody who out there who's creating NFTs needs a platform to be able to launch them from. Now, some people will literally launch them into the market and offer a minting process. In other words, you get them for literally nothing. That means that when you become an active member of HyperNation, then you can actually mint some new NFTs that haven't even hit the market yet.
This is absolutely crazy. So you can make your own NFTs. These guys are nuts. Stupid idiots, scammers.
And the only place you can mint them is HyperNation, because HyperNation is allowing a platform where I don't know, let's say Vivian creates a new kind of NFT and he wants to launch it on the market. He will bring it into HyperNation. He will do a process called minting, and there'll be certain tasks you'll do to be able to be a part of that. So this is where this sort of melts into everything that we're doing. So in effect, you could literally be the first people to get some brand new NFTs that are not even on the market yet.
How exciting.
So now you've entered a whole new phase. You know, this means that all sorts of projects can be launched, including members that we've got, you know, who can do art and music and write songs and literally.
All right, something I forgot to do. Now, when I'm doing these videos, I do them live. I don't like editing. But the other day I bought myself a clicker. Instead of clapping, I now click. So I need to see if I can do that. Make sure I can see it. And I'll do it again. Alrighty, that means I can line up my voice so it doesn't look like it's lagging. And I need to remember to do that every 30 minutes. Okay, all right, back to Pinakee.
Anything and everything. So this is literally just the first page of, you know, what this allows. And almost, when you think about it, this sort of verges on the green box too. Anybody who wants to come in, wants to be a part of this, the only way in is either by an NFT from OpenSea or by Green Box, which has a 2D NFT.
Yeah, and I mean, we can touch on that further when we're talking about the green box, but
Yes.
like what I would say is this is, just to give an example, probably an extreme example, but it's good to get it out there. There's a NFT called the Bored Ape Yacht Club. There was 10,000 of them created.
I'm just going to interrupt here. I don't know anything about the green box, but if I had just invested in a $10,000, $100,000 or $100 NFT to get myself a ticket into HyperNation, are they giving out these green boxes that they're now introducing, or are they expecting people who have the money to purchase them? Of course, they will be producing products left, right, and center, giving you false hope that you're purchasing these valuable items. This is ridiculous.
At the time when they were minted, if you're lucky enough to be aware of it and take the opportunity, they were sold sort of between $400 and $600 about 18 months ago. The cheapest one you can buy right now on OpenSea is 100 grand.
Wow.
So if you had bought one for $400, and by the way, the floor on them 3 or 4 months ago was 250 grand. So, you know, the point here is if you were aware of that at the time and could see the potential in it, you could have bought one.
Now I've bought NFT comics and I can buy them for $7 if I fluke it and I get myself a ultra rare comic from Marvel. Then that comic, theoretically, I can see it on the market for $1 million. Now I've literally bought one for $7, gone onto the market and found it a few hours later for selling for $1 million. Oh, wow. No, it doesn't mean it's worth $1 million, because what idiot would pay $1 million for it? You can sell your NFTs for any price you want. It's like going to eBay and looking at all the things for sale, trying to figure out what they're worth. People don't sell them for what they advertise them for. So a lot of that rubbish is rubbish. And it's like there's all these stories when NFTs first come out. They had these amazing stories of people making lots of money. That was 1.5 years ago. The opportunity has gone. And like I said, would you really want to tell your friends, I have a Hitchhiker Star Guide NFT from HyperVerse? Oh, who was HyperVerse? HyperVerse ran one of the biggest scams on the internet and they ripped off everybody. Is that NFT going to be valuable? Don't think so, Tim.
For $400 and now be sitting on at a very minimum value of 100 grand. Of course, you could have, there are ones that have sold for multiple millions.
Yeah.
So, you know, I suppose what I'm trying to say there is by being, you know, whatever color box you have, you get the exposure to those. Now, whether you buy them or not will be your own decision, but you get exposure to these NFT minting processes. And I can assure you, if you get into the right ones on there, and obviously, look, you'll probably buy a couple that mightn't do well, but if you buy across 5 or 10 over time, then there's a very strong possibility you will hit 1 or 2 that'll do extremely well.
This really is for dummies, isn't it? Yes, for dummies. Community plan walkthrough.
And you get that exposure by being within the HyperNation. So, It's one of, you know, HyperNation is not just, and this is the thing we really have to get out of our heads. It's not just the ×3. It's lovely. And the money you're making out of that ×3, you can decide maybe instead of taking all out in withdrawals, maybe I'll put a bit into an NFT, or I'll do some DeFi, or I'll stake some MOF, or whatever it might be.
So my take on things is, at the moment, I've got one guy I know, Mark Gardner. Hi, Mark. Still watching my videos. Thank you. He's got $83,000 caught up in HyperNation. Now, HyperNation only got released for about 7 or 8 months. And as my friend said in his video the other day, which was quite interesting, did it ever really get traction? It failed when they started changing it from membership 1 to 2. Now, let's say he's got $83,000 stuck in HyperVerse, and HyperNation, for some reason, want to remain a different entity. Wonder why that is, guys. Not rocket science on that one. They don't want to take any of the debt from HyperVerse, and they just want to start fresh because they want all the money, cash injection that you get when you start up these Ponzi schemes. Anyway, so I believe they say that they're going to repay people 1 times what they invested in HyperVerse, which means if you've invested $300 or $400, the lovely people that we don't know that exist in HyperVerse aim is to repay you your one-time reward. So $300 in, they're going to make sure you at least get your money back that you invested. None of the rewards they promised, just your money. Now that's only going to happen when you purchase a yellow NFT. And that was going to happen on the 15th of July, then the 25th of July, and now the 28th of July. Now it is the 31st of July, because I'm in New Zealand, and they've now just produced a PDF showing you the membership plans. Right, okay, so my take on it is they are going to not know the true people from the artificial people when you go back to HyperVerse. They won't be able to determine. They'll use that as an excuse because at the moment, people like Kalpesh Patel, and if you watch my yesterday's video, you can see Keith Williams encouraging people to actually buy multiple memberships. Just like they have said the reason why HyperVerse has fallen over is because people created multiple accounts. Now, Keith Williams says that somebody did it, naughty people, and he's disgusted and they did nothing for their money, but he was encouraging people to do it, and I'm sure he's done it himself. His son is also a VIP 5. I'm sure they've all had their finger in the cookie jar. Right. I believe that you'll never get your money back, like they said, because I've got no proof of this, and you have to be in HyperNation to get it. However that's going to work, we don't know. But the $83,000 that my mate Mark Gardner has in there, what's the bet that they will mint a whole lot of worthless NFTs and then tell him that he can use the $85,000 worth of HU dollars to purchase them? And he goes, oh, no, I don't want these NFTs because the market gets flooded. Just like my comics that have been selling for $1 million each, but haven't been selling, but for sale for $1 million each, are now worth $2 each. So they're going to be flooding the market. And now they're talking about mining NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Look up the meaning of that word. It means it's one of a kind and you can't fool the system. And now they're going to start printing it like it's money. The terminology makes me blow my mind. But anyway, that's what I reckon. So in short, they're going to go back to the people they owe money to and offer them worthless NFTs to get rid of the debt. If that happens, I don't think it will, but that's the only way because there's no money. Well, funny enough, if you went along to HyperVerse and you went into their website and you wanted to invest 300 or 400, 800 or 1200 HU today, right now, you can still do that. Why is a company letting people still put money in it? They reckon they're going to run them as 2 different entities, but they haven't. They've plucked out all the good people out of HyperVerse and they've taken them all to HyperNation. And now they're going to start with all the educated VIPs. They're out there on their sales team and they're going to go back for another round of recruiting people to sign up and refer people. It's disgusting. This whole thing is just getting more and more complex. They have to keep making up stories as they go. These leaders in this video have no idea what's happening, and they're the ones that are the shepherds. Now, the purpose of a shepherd is to groom the flock, keep the sheep safe, keep the wolves away, and then take them to the market and slaughter them so that they can pay the shepherd the money. So you are sheep, and they are shepherds looking after you so they can make money out of you.
But it's not just one thing, and that's what we really have to open our minds up to.
Yes.
We got to move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this one is fairly straightforward, but still we'll cover it. Being a citizen of HyperNation, what's it give you? We appreciate the utmost support from our community in developing HyperNation. Citizens of HyperNation can now reap up to and it's always important to read those two words,
Yes.
up to 3 times rewards, as this is a way of expressing our gratitude to all our citizens. 3 times reward, up to 0.7% of the principal sum will be given daily until the pending rewards of the membership is fully released. Just look, my understanding of that is people that bought a box, whether it was yellow or purple or otherwise, you're going, I believe you are getting a 5 times on that, just that, until it runs out. And I believe that's going to be at 7. But my understanding is for, you know, anyone that just comes in and buys a package, I think it's it is times 3. And then there is that up to 0.7, and I think there'll be variations on how that's decided, but we're going to come to that here.
Yeah, I think that's very important to cover. It's 3 times, and you know, this is what I've said in the past. What we've just covered, literally on the slide before this, is the potential is way more than 3x is. It just, you know, shows it's something to get you in the door to say, oh, look, here's an incentive for you to come in and become a member of this club, this exclusive club, which is exactly what HyperNation is. It's an exclusive club where you join, you buy an NFT to become a member, and you get up to 0.7%, and up to is the clever part, exactly what Vivian says. So don't get stuck on, oh, they're going to give 0.7. No, it says up to. So don't go around, you know, giving misinformation to anybody, telling them it's...
You wouldn't want to do that, guys. You don't want to give misinformation to people, do you? That's not your style. What the heck?
Something that it's not. Up to, you need to use part of that as well.
Yeah, so then the HyperNation citizenship, again, you can see there's 3 different levels and the rebuy. So obviously this is quite familiar to anyone that's been in HyperVerse. You know, you can get a package for 400.
I'm just going to fix up my screen so you can come along. I'm just fixing up the old screen that happened here. I just want to, what have I done with that? Boom. And then I want to get that there. Camera, add new. This is what I have to do. I just want to make it a bit clearer for you guys. So you can see desktop, custom area. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to get rid of these guys off the screen. And then we go done. And that didn't work. I've totally stuffed that up. What have I done here, Danny? That goes clear layer, remove layer, put that layer back. I've totally stuffed it up. But anyway, let's just forget I did that and pretend I didn't do that. And I won't edit that out because we need entertainment.
4,800 HU, the 3 times value, that's all very normal to us as well. Release rate is standard. But the bit at the end, and we're not going to be able to give you clarity on this, except to point out the fact that it exists. You know, the first package, there's 0 booster. The 1200 one, there's 1 booster, and the next one there's 2 booster. I don't know what that means. I'm sure Pinakee doesn't know what that means. But you know, at a guess,
Danny doesn't know what that means.
It would appear that maybe at 1, you know, at 0 booster, maybe the, you know, this is where the up to percentage comes in. Maybe it's at a certain level at the 0 booster. At 1, it's at a different level, and at 2, it's a different level. I don't know the answer to that. It's just something I would be surmising. But if you look at the bottom, you know, they've got the note in there, standard release rate up to 0.7% of the daily fixed release. So I would suggest there's some connection between that percentage and the booster level.
Yeah, that's the way I read it. You know, when me and Vivian spoke about this yesterday, and he goes, what does the booster mean? I said, well, it could mean a variety of things. You know, 0 means you just get the whatever the standard rate is, and this is where the up to comes in. We don't know for sure what the booster means, but it kind of makes sense that, you know, there's something that you have to do to achieve that booster of 1 or 2. So what we're being shown is you can't just come in and say, oh, let me just do this throw something into it and go to sleep for the next few hundred years. It doesn't work that way.
Oh,
Like
really?
any society, you have to be an active member of it. So always remember the up to is important.
Enjoying that, guys? Watch me do this stuff.
So that brings us on to the contribution points. So we'll read through this.
Yeah.
It sounds more complicated than it is. Once we actually go into probably the following slide, it'll be easier to explain it, but we'll read through it anyway, just so people they're trying to get their head around it. The national level is determined. So your national level is probably your standing overall. Your national level is determined by both community performance and contribution points. So your contribution points determine the upgrade and downgrade of your national level. But regardless of this fluctuation, your community performance is unaffected. There are various ways from which you can improve your contribution points so as not to downgrade your national level. So, I'll keep reading. If any of the community performance or contribution points is lower than the current accumulated value, the national level will be immediately downgraded, whereas the current lowest score in the range corresponding to the level will continue to remain at that level. Don't worry if you're not following this at the moment. The contribution points serves the important purpose of maintaining your national level, as well as allowing you to enjoy the various rewards provided in HyperNation. To ensure that you get the reward that you fully deserve, it is important to maintain a standard figure of contribution points. And then just a note at the bottom, these contribution points are valid for 45 days, after which the corresponding contribution points will expire.
Now, that is incredible. So you have to contribute. It's like when I used to go to my Kingdom Hall as a Jehovah's Witness. They used to get this old frail guy going up there and giving the financial report every month, telling you how much money. Well, they don't do that with us. But also then they used to say there's a few cobwebs in the contribution boxes. So they wanted you to give freely. So this is what they're actually asking you to do, is they want you to be part of the community. They want you to join the community and get together in a huddle and then go out there and tell people about it. This is exactly the same as a religious cult. And if you don't, you're going to be kicked out. Wow, I got kicked out of the Jehovah's Witness religion. I lost all my family, my friends, everyone I grew up with, and I had to start my life over at the age of 23. Now, this is meant to be a beautiful place to be part of the HyperNation. You can do whatever you like. Obviously not.
For example, when you earn your contribution points on the 2nd of July, then by all means, the contribution points shall expire on the 17th of August, 45 days later. So, do you want to talk about this, Pinakee?
I think on this one, when you read it, I think most people are in the same boat. It's like, this doesn't make any sense. But I think when you read it and then move on to the next slide, then you sort of, I suppose that the buzzwords in this are community performance and contribution points. In other words, you have to be a member of this community. Don't forget, if you're in HyperNation, why would you not be a member of this community? Secondly, contribution points. That means everybody has to contribute. We can't have, thousands of people who literally go to sleep on a park bench while 3 people do all the work. That's the way society works. We can't have, thousands of people sitting in a country doing nothing while a few people work.
Oh, why
It's
not?
almost on the same model.
Yeah, so we'll explain this. It'll be easier to explain this when we have numbers in front of us.
Yes.
We'll do in a second. But just, the point on how can you earn contribution points? Well, basically add value in some way or another. So one obviously is the very simple process of just logging in on a daily basis into your account. So that's pretty easy, pretty straightforward, and something anyone should be able to do. Contribute value to the community. So that could be any number of ways. And again, possibly we'll come back to that. Solidarity and unity. What does that mean? A mutual consensus to realize a harmonious society. We'll come back to that. Social media outreach. That's probably very obvious. Being involved in Discord, Twitter, and interact with the HyperNation accounts, and probably maybe helping people out along the way. I'm assuming the likes of YouTube might be involved in that, or others. We'll see. Number 5, participate in campaigns, airdrops.
So it actually sounds like that we're going to start to be spammed by HyperNation members who are on a crusade to be part of a nation. I'd love to know the numbers of people that actually bought yellow boxes and purple boxes and platinum boxes. Keith will come on soon, and I'll also show you my correspondence with Keith. But this is obviously, in my eyes, absolutely, well, in anyone's eyes, I hope, absolutely ridiculous, telling people they have to be part of the community and actively contribution points. I can't even say that word.
Rewards. And of course, number 6, there'll be other things as well. Do you want to touch on these, Pinakee?
Yeah, I mean, the first one is just perfect. Daily login to HyperNation account. We're not saying you have to log in and literally go and, you know, spend hours in there every single day.
No, they are daily login. Do you log into your bank account every day? Probably the one that most people go to. I go to YouTube every day, but to daily log into your account, that is an explosion.
But guess what? If you're a part of this HyperNation, I mean, the perfect example is when things come out and information comes.
So if you go on holiday or you're laying in bed because you've got COVID and you haven't logged in each day, your account's going to disappear. That's what it says. And now he's trying to say, I don't think that's what it means.
Comes out. That HyperNation is literally, it's not a case of them sending you an email. That's reactive. You're supposed to log in and find out what's going on. It's a bit like having your own shop and not bother going in.
Now, Keith's getting so pissed off with people who keep asking them questions who aren't at the leadership meetings. If this is actually from corporate and corporate does exist, which I don't believe they do, I think Keith Williams is behind this and Mickey, the other guy, and I still think Kalpesh Patel is as well. Now, he is getting so pissed off of people that aren't at the leadership meetings. There's meant to be 1 million people involved in HyperVerse. 1 million people. 1 million people, right? Okay, so if there's been, when you go to the leadership meetings, there's normally around about 1,800 people. 1,000 in the main room and about 800 or so in the overflow room. So all of a sudden, you need to go log into the platform, the website, and keep up with the latest announcements or become part of the leadership team and get involved in it's just utterly ridiculous. The numbers aren't even there to merit this. What they're trying to do is get everyone to gel as one unit so they can go out there and get another fundraising round. A lot of companies have fundraising rounds, and this is just another scheme to get some cash flow in until they come up with their next excuse for it not working.
It doesn't make any sense. So you daily log in. So when you've spoken to members in the past and they say, oh, I haven't logged in 6 months, well, that sort of solves that problem. They are not contributing. You know, contribute value to the community? Absolutely. Just by being a member, just by, I don't know, going to see certain things or taking part in various, you know, things like whitelisting, minting, NFTs. The potential is just amazing. It's like there's not enough words to even cover it all. The next one I think is very important. Solidarity and unity, a mutual consensus to realize a harmonious society.
You can see how Hitler got some traction, can't you?
This is almost what our strategy group has been doing literally for the past few weeks, which is it's all about helping the community.
Why do these guys need a strategy? I mean, think about what he just said. Our strategy group, what they have been doing for the last few weeks. Do you realize this isn't their company? They don't, well, do they? Think about it. They're saying that they have had to come up with a strategy to feed this shit out to you. Now, corporate, theoretically, if they do exist, have told them to go out there and preach the word of HyperNation, just like religious people do. These are cult leaders that you're listening to, and they've been trying to come up with a strategy. What type of company do you give your money to that doesn't have a strategy or doesn't have people from the company giving guidance when they've got these little wee mice running around for every breadcrumb of money they're promised and then producing these who came up with this PDF? Is this one corporate? One guy sat there and produced a PDF after collecting millions of dollars. Guys are crazy.
And becoming a member of a society or a community where everybody helps each other. This is not a let me grab this and run off and do my own thing and then tell people how great I am. This is basically about all of us taking each other on a journey hand in hand and saying, look, this is where you can go. This is where you can make things happen. That's what solidarity and unity is all about. It's about a community. So contribution points that's the way I see it. Social media outreach, absolutely. We want people from outside of HyperNation to come and see what we have to offer. It's pretty straightforward. The only way we're going to do that is when you're on things like Twitter, etc., etc. Participate in campaigns, airdrops, rewards. I can put this quite bluntly. It's like, you got to be daft not to participate in campaigns, airdrops. You're literally getting things for nothing. Rewards. The and more bit is just...
What the hell is an airdrop? He talked about it the other day. I mean, I think an airdrop is when one of their game... Remember, what game was it? Space Invaders. Remember, that thing used to go along the top and drop down the bombs, and you used to be out there going, doo, doo, doo. So you've got to be part of the airdrop.
Right, because there are going to be so many different options. When we've got hundreds of thousands of members in this nation, there's going to be, MOF is part of this story too. And that's going to be in there doing something on the financial side. You've got GNX in there doing all sorts of things about, data and storage of data.
Oh boy, they're digging deep. This must be such a hard presentation to do. Come on, Keith, come and put your enthusiasm. He's the morale officer. Yeah.
We don't know what else is going to come up. So this is all about being a contributing member to the society. How else are you going to get your universal basic income? They're not going to give it you for nothing.
Who's they? Are you? I'm spewing in a bucket in the background as I do this.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be part.
Who's this Gumpy anyway? This guy that's on here at the moment, Vivian. Anyone know him? I've looked on YouTube a little bit and found a couple of whatever. He's meant to be some crypto leader who thinks he knows his shit, but he's sitting there in an NFT chair addressing the nation. What the hell?
Of the value creation to expect to get some value out, and obviously that was where there was a bit of a slip up when it came to HyperVerse. It was possible to come in, put some money in, do nothing, and either have a couple of big leaders in below you, build it all for you, or putting in a...
Well, excuse me, Vivian. That's what you advertised. I believe it's their scam. That's what you advertised. I walked down the road and I saw this big sign on the window and it says, invest $300, get 3 times your investment in 600 days. It did not say about having to log into your bank every day. It did not say that you can't say anything negative about the organisation because you'll get your account mucked up. It didn't say anything about keeping your mouth shut when you've lost all your money. It didn't say anything about what they're saying now. And they haven't even delivered. And now you're onto your third branding that I've seen, HyperFun, HyperVerse, and now HyperNation. You guys are loopy from the Looney Tune show. Do a search, watch the Looney Tune show on YouTube, and then go back to this and see if you can see a similarity.
A very big chunk of money and just taking that money out and adding absolutely zero. So it's about all of us creating some...
I heard of one couple that actually mortgaged their house for $30,000 to buy into HyperVerse.
Some value in some way.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those ways won't be particularly stressful. It'll be just creating that value. Everyone will be able to add different things as well. And by doing that, the company itself can create value from what's being done by us as a group.
If you theoretically looked at this in a bigger picture, I'm sorry to interrupt, but let's just say that planet Earth is in such a bad state. Doom and gloom, the banks have failed us, the police are corrupt, there's wars, there's earthquakes, there's rain, there's weather, the whole Earth is all stuffed up, right? So theoretically, they're all going to run away to a HyperNation. All the computers that run the HyperNation are powered from planet Earth. So using your brain, because this ain't rocket science, this is tech science, why don't you spend your time and energy building better communities here on Earth? Why not start up a sort of a non-profit organization and see if you can do some good in real communities rather than an artificial digital world where the ecosystem is designed that the platinum NFT holders and the purple NFT holders are the ones that are going to be controlling the yellow NFT holders. Theoretically, Why would you set up a new planet over here? Why don't you spend your energy time, if you're going to have hundreds of thousands of people, why don't you fix the Earth that we live on rather than trying to make a digital world that can't sustain itself over here? There's one reason, and that's because this is a Ponzi scheme. The people at the top, or at the beginning, make all the money, and they only care about their own pockets.
And in turn, can obviously then continue to pay out what they pay out and keep giving us the opportunities that come down the line. So it's and I'll touch more on that as we tie all this together.
We're going to touch on it
in a little bit.
Yes.
But here's probably the one that this is what will probably tie a lot of it together initially anyway. So contribution points example. So we're aware of what V1 to V5 were previously. As you can see, there's an extra couple in here, and we're aware of the first column, the community performance, which is basically the amount of sales in your down line, and that's how these things were calculated. So if you made V3, you were V3, even if you did no more, did nothing, you always stayed as V3 or V5 or whatever level. It's irrelevant, but whatever level you are at, and as Pinakee said, and I think it's a good change. They've changed it from VIP to just V, because I think that wasn't really a great way of describing it. But so it's just V.
Yes.
And, but the beauty here is that there's an extra column now. So I could go out and achieve V3 at some point, and so I'll go, okay, I'm a V3. Look how great I am, right? And I've done 250 sales, and throughout my team have done 250,000 worth of sales. But
just so you know what a sale is, hey Jim, I got a opportunity for you. What's that, Danny? Well, it's an investment opportunity. You can buy yourself a membership with this thing called HyperNation. Oh, how does that work? Well, you give us $400, and within I think it's gone crazy now, isn't it? I think it's even further than 1,330 days. You're going to get 5 times your return on your investment. He goes, that sounds great. So you sign him up. So that's 1. So VIP 5, you have to recruit 2,000 people. That's what I'd call a sale, is recruiting someone. So the VIP 7 is now saying that once you've recruited 5,000 people. So do the maths on that. So 2,000 people, 200 people is $8 million, $16 million. So when you're a VIP 7, you have created $20 million for HyperNation.
If I'm contributing nothing, if I brought in a few people, they're working away, they're building a team, and creating sales and all the rest of it, and they get to, my team ends up being this 250,000, but I'm not logging on, I'm having nothing really to do with this, then my contribution points will be 0. And in that example, I will not be V3, I'll be a V0. Or maybe I've done, now I believe this to be a typo error there, this first one where it says 80,000 in contribution points. I'm pretty certain it's going to be 8,000.
It's not actually.
Oh, isn't it?
No, I did confirm that.
Okay, that seems strange.
Yes, I think it's basically, when you think about it.
You confirmed that? Who did you confirm that with? Can you tell us? Do we know the company behind this scam?
Well, V0 more or less explains itself. You literally don't log in, don't do anything. And also, if everybody looks at their HyperNation account, it says V0. So that's where you start from. You have to get to a certain point to show that you've contributed. So 80,000 is correct. But then the next levels become easier. So it's all about maintaining a level. And guess what? If you're doing certain things on a regular basis, and don't forget, even simple things like voting on something is
voting. Donald Trump will be in here. Woo!
The contribution point. So it's not just you have to do every single one of these things. You can do a whole variety of them, and each one will give you different contributions.
Sounds like a great game to play when you're in prison there.
Points. So I suppose when you look at it one way is, somebody says, I'm a V5. In a way, you can't really say that anymore, because 1 week you could be a V5, or sorry, 1 month. 45 days later, you could be a V1 because you did not a lot. So you have to maintain that level. So in a way, it's good that it sort of moves away.
So I reckon that this company will get done by the employment institution, because they're literally now saying that you have to work for HyperNation.
From this whole idea of I need a title to say I'm a V this and a V that. You don't. You just need to be a member of this society to be able to get these different levels.
Yeah, so if you were a V5 and your team has done 2 million in sales,
yeah,
but you've done those 2 million in sales, that number's not going to change. So based on that, you are a V5. But if you've contributed, your contribution points are say 42,000 there, well then you will actually be seen as a V3 when it comes to certain parts of the rewards. Yes. And so obviously this thing can fluctuate. It's also important to note that, for example, you could put in contribution points of 625,000. But if your sales are at 2 million, well, then you'll be a V5. So it's...
Remember those games that kids had a few years ago? Can't remember what they are. I don't know why I started talking. But anyway, but you had to feed them every day and water them every day. And if you didn't, this electronic toy would die. And it was teaching kids how to be responsible. I wonder if they got the idea from that.
No, your sales are at whatever level, and then your contribution points will dictate whether you're maintain that level or back. It can't drag you forward. So contribution points can't put...
All right, it's been about an hour in, so I need to do this. Thank you. It helps me record. Back to these guys.
You up. It just means as long as you maintain at least the level, it won't drag you back. But it does ensure that you can't have people in here who are just doing zero and getting paid out, for example, as a V5, but adding nothing to the community. And to the, well, they're not contributing, hence contribution points. So I think this is absolutely brilliant because it takes out of the equation some of that. We discussed 3 different issues before we started on this. One was some guy coming in with say 100 grand, doing a structure, sucking out loads of money and taking no part in anything. What are they adding to the community? And the answer is 0. This takes this out of the equation, because if they put that 100 grand in, yeah, okay, they can get there 3 times, or well, up to 3 times. But that may well be linked also to their contribution points. I'm sure they'll get some no matter what, but you know, maybe if they're not contributing at all and they put in this big chunk of money, well then maybe they'll get a times 1.5, or, and this is guesswork. I have no idea of numbers.
But you know, there's another way to look at it.
There's lots of ways to look at it. This is just a stupid scam, you dumbasses.
Now we've realized, just going through these 9 slides, is that, you know, there's going to be whitelisting for NFTs, which haven't even come onto the market yet. Now, if you don't, you know, have enough contribution points, it could be they don't open the door for you to be able to...
If you don't spend money with them regularly, I bet that will make your points go down too.
New NFTs, and as you said, some have sold for $400 and gone up to 100,000. Some have sold for $400 and gone up to $1,000, or probably not even sold. But don't forget, if you want that door open,
probably not even sold. Exactly right. The idiots that buy them doesn't mean you're going to sell them. Maybe one day. It's not gold you're buying; it's a digital image. Good on you.
You have to be a contributing member to society. And isn't that what every single country is asking for? It encourages work.
You guys need to stay on planet Earth. Come on, you know it's true.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's very difficult to expect to get a universal basic income if there's no input whatsoever. If you own any type of store, but let's say a car, you're selling cars, and you own the place and you had people there working to sell cars, and you had a guy in there for 6 months who never sold a car and didn't seem too bothered about selling a car, would you continue paying them? Or would you say you either need to sell a car or you need to go somewhere else? You know.
Good thinking, mate. Good example. Yeah.
They're adding nothing to the business. How's the business?
It's like when you put your money in the bank and the bank says to you, can you make sure that you come back and knock to the bank every day? And if you don't, we're going to throw your money out the window. Oh, no, we're going to keep your money. That's right. This is ridiculous, guys.
Supposed to continue paying them, and this is no different.
Yeah.
Well, I think it is different, but it gives you the idea and the concept. So look, hopefully that explains that. And again, I think we'll put all this in a nutshell at the end, but we'll continue going through it here.
Yeah.
So there's three reward systems.
I have got the PDF of the presentation. Of course I have. I will put a Dropbox link in the show notes. So if you, by the way, while I'm doing this, this is Pixel. He's having a wee yawn and a cuddle with Dad. My dad does his YouTubing. Well, yeah. Pixel's 11 weeks old. And yeah. Anyway, I'll put a Dropbox link in the show notes. So if you're on a mobile phone, you can look at the title of this, and you're watching on YouTube. The title of this YouTube video, there's a wee drop down arrow, and in there you can obviously like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get more of my videos. Would be lovely, and it helps share, get these videos out, right? But in the show notes, I put timestamps, and I'll put timestamps in it. So when you click on the time, it will take you to that part in the video, which is really cool. So you don't have to sit here and obviously listen to these great big long YouTube videos I do. I learned a lot of my YouTubing simply by doing, but I was really impressed by the fact that a 2.5 hour video was one of the ones that got most views. So it doesn't mean about the timestamps are the key. And obviously if you have a timestamp, you can go to the part that you want to go to. But I also will put a Dropbox link of the PDF in there so that you can grab a copy of this dribble that they're talking about. It's 27 or 29 pages. Can't quite remember. But by all means, have a look, and we'll let them continue. And I'll keep cuddling my little wee dog.
In HyperNation, so there's the Citizens Referral Reward, which is probably almost self-explanatory.
Yeah.
The Community Ranking Reward and the Equality Reward. So we'll just tip through those. So here's the first one. Everyone on here will be fairly familiar with this. You know,
Why is it shaped like a pyramid? 3 pyramids of Egypt. We had that one of my other ones. If you go back through my videos, you'll see I had one of the last ones I used a pyramid as the background picture.
you can, you know, invite people into this HyperNation, and obviously that has benefits to you and so on. We'll just skip straight into this. This is the reward. And again, everybody is probably very familiar with this in that you can see the citizen level. So whether someone's on your first level, second level, third level, and so on, these numbers are the very same as they were before. So there's no education required here. You know, your first is 20%, second level 15%, and so on. Everything's identical there, to my memory. So the example is if your direct downline achieves a total of 100,000 HU per day, you will receive 20,000 HU per day. That's your 20%. That's straightforward enough. If your downline from level 2 earns 100,000 per day, you will receive 15,000 HU per day. Again, obviously that's 15%, straightforward enough. Don't think we need to spend too much time on that. Do you want to say anything?
No, it's basically we've seen this. This hasn't changed.
Typical pyramid.
Why change?
Typical pyramid scheme. Yep. Why change it if it's not broken? Because it doesn't work. That's why the rewards never get paid out. Are you guys pathetic? Do you think people are going to believe this rubbish again? Of course they are. People just keep feeding these monsters at the top. These guys are bottom feeders, bottom of the earth, low lifes, not good people, no good, no friends, no family left. They've scammed them all.
You know, if it's not broken, there's no need to fix it.
It's broken.
So this wasn't broken, so they haven't bothered fixing it.
Exactly. So then
everything else was broken, but this is broken. Now they tell you it's not broken. Is it broken? Is it not broken?
Citizen referral reward example, and again fairly straightforward, but based on the 2 examples they just gave there, this is just it summarized. So the last sentence.
Pyramid scheme. We must have a noise for this. That's pretty boring. Oh my God, that was noisy.
There you can receive total citizen referral reward is 35,000 HU, which are contributed by A and B. So again, all that's the same as it was. So I don't think we need to spend much time on that.
No.
So then there's the 2 other rewards. So there's community ranking reward and the equality reward. So different national levels are entitled to different percent.
I thought we had one nation.
percentages of the community reward under the following. So this is separate now. So what we've just seen, the first reward.
This must be for the people that live on different planets within the HyperNation. This is getting really exciting. They look like planets.
Is the very same as it was before. And what we're just about to discuss now doesn't affect that. But this then is the two other rewards where your ranking will have a certain, it will have a very significant part to play on the percentages that are calculated for you. So the different national levels are entitled to different percentages of the community reward under the following: community ranking reward and the equality reward. So they're number 2 and 3. The basis for calculating the community reward is determined by the performance of large and small community. So we'll just tip on to that.
Yep.
So depending on, obviously, whether you're a V0, V1, all the way up to V7, determines what percentage that you will receive through this bonus. Upline's national level must be greater than the national level of her downline within 20 levels. So obviously you have the potential to earn a percentage on these on your team below you, provided their V standing is less than your V standing. Okay. Obviously, if it's greater, that particular person won't be included in your calculation.
Sorry, go on.
No,
I think the other important thing to
There's lots of important announcements today, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds like we need an elephant. Unreal. This is stupid. I just can't believe people even believe this is true. And this Pinakee guy, I think he's Calpeach's replacement, and I think Keith's going to disappear. I've actually sent Keith William a message, and I actually suggested that he should have left when Calpeach left. I'll show you that message in a few wee while.
Into all of this, you know, we can play with the numbers and look at all of this, but the most important part of this is it says community ranking reward. You're building a community.
I thought you guys already had a community.
You're not creating sponsors, upline, downline, and all the rest of it. It's a community you're building.
Oh, and listen to Pinakee Naik. Last time he said that we're not going to have ranks, and he said that it's going to be all about influencers. And if you're an influencer, you'll have a community around you, and you won't need to label everyone. So obviously that's not quite the same as what you said the other day, Pinakee Naik.
You know, you're on a journey to build your own
community,
you know, citizenship, your own town, exactly. Think of it.
I'm going to get a planet.
You're building your own town. You've gone in, you've built your own house. Now you're going to help your community to build theirs too. And this is what this is all about. It's about a community you're building.
Yeah, I think that there's a mindset change required for...
Lots of things required to grasp this one or swallow this heap of shit.
As compared to the way most people treat it, HyperVerse, in that you will create value for yourself by creating value for others. And, you know, again, we'll come back to when we're wrapping all this up to maybe talk about that a bit more. Yeah. So part 2, the community ranking award does not include the entire community of your direct downline with the highest performance. So in other words, again, this was part of what was in the old system.
Yes.
Your highest, you know, let's say you had 3 good team builders that you are in your team. Whoever's doing the biggest, building the biggest team will not be included in your calculation. The other 2 will be. And that's, again, something we're familiar with. And it supports up to 20 levels downline, which, again, we're familiar with. So, again, I think the next slide will explain a little bit more about all of this. So let's say you are, and we'll use the example that's here, you are a V4. So let's say we've got V4 here, that's you. You've got someone here on your left that we can see the X's through their head. That's one of your team builders, and they're flying it. They're building a very big team and bringing a lot of value into the community. They won't be included in your calculations. So they're on one side, and then so we look at on the right hand side, and we've got you know, on your first level you've got a V3, very good. On level 2 you have a V2, and a level 3 you have V2. So what's that mean? Well, the prerequisites here is that the V3 performance, what they're saying is, you know, as an example, is 400,000 HU. If you're currently national level V4 and your downline is V3, you will receive 3% on this bonus. How is that calculated? Straightforward enough. I'm just going to go back to the sheet. So we want to see V4 and V3. So we'll just go back to the previous sheet. Why is that not moving for me? Oh yeah, here we go. If I just go back to this one, oh, I skipped it. If you go here, you can see V4 6% and V3 is 3%. So that's where those numbers come from. Just I think is important to know. So when you see these numbers here now, you are V4. That gives you 6%. But the person in level 1 is a V3 and they're entitled to 3%. So obviously 6% minus 3% is 3%. So you now get 3% of this bonus, which is 400,000, which in this example would give you 12,000 HU. So hopefully that works. Again, if you wanted to expand out that example, we have here level 2. You can work out again what their percentage is, how much what their turnover is, and you work it out from there. So it's straightforward enough, I think. Anything, do you want to add anything, Pinakee, before I go on?
No, absolutely. It's pretty straightforward. It's what we've already known before. And to be honest, if you didn't know it before and you were building a team, then you definitely need to know it.
Yeah, the method of calculation is slightly different, but the general thesis behind it is the same.
Same.
So we'll go on to the next one. And then this brings us on to the equality reward. So in the last reward, you'll see if I was a V4 and the person below me was V3 or less, I'd make some percentage. But what happens if the person below you was V4? You're V4 and they're V4. Well, in that bonus, you get nothing. Which seems okay. Why would that be the case? You're encouraging and helping that person to get V4. You're V4 and you're getting nothing for that. Well, not in that one, but in this one you will. Oops. So it's called the equality reward.
Sorry, kids.
The upline's national level equals the national level of his her downlines with 20 levels. So minimum national level. So this is for V3s upwards. So the example here is, if you're currently in national level as V4 and your downline is V4, you will receive 1% equality reward. So in other words, because in the other rewards you might go, you're nearly being penalized for helping and encouraging and bringing your downline up to the same level as yourself. Well, that's the case in that one, but in this one they go, yeah, well, we appreciate that work and there's a 1% match here. So again, I think fairly straightforward. You have to be V3 or above for it to be considered for this. It's based on someone being level with you, and it's 1%. So I think it's straightforward. But Pinakee, again, if you want to add it.
Absolutely. I think the other important thing to remember in this is whatever V level you are in HyperVerse is not what you will be in HyperNation. It's totally different. So no, everybody is almost going back. And if you look in your HyperNation account, it actually says V0. So everybody starts at the bottom, which is great because that's the way you rebuild something. The great thing is, because we've done what we've done so far and we've opted for various options that the company has offered, we're now going to go into this almost, boosting our rankings up. The next bit we need to do is now become members of communities and help the community, and then your ranking will move.
Yeah, very good. And on to the next slide. We're nearly there, by the way. There's only a few slides left. How do the mechanics work? Well, as we were aware before, 1 in, up to 3 times out, up to 3 times out. Regardless of the fact whether you receive referral rewards or community rewards, a maximum of 3 times the principal sum of the package will be awarded to you for every purchase. So, whatever X amount of money, I'll use 100, obviously the package isn't 100, but if you put in $100, you can get back to $300. It doesn't change no matter what community rewards or what you do on there. That 100 won't turn into any more than 300, but it will come to you quicker if you're involved in building the community and all the rest of it. And of course, there are rebuys back on the scene here, and they are 50 HU. So I think most people will be happy with that scenario.
True.
And next slide is, and this one for me is a very interesting one. The citizens referral reward. So all rewards are shown in HyperNation account. So I think what this will mean is for the people that have bought whatever box, well, excluding green coming up now, but for anyone that's got the yellow, purple, platinum box, the 3 times reward will be distributed from the user's existing pending reward. Now, this is just my reading of this, but I think what's going to happen here is if you have, for example, I don't know, 10,000 pending reward in HyperVerse, and let's say for argument's sake, you have 1,000 in actual rewards, then the 10,000, I believe, is going to come across and be shown here in your HyperNation back office. And and so that will be there in your pending rewards. The 1,000, depending on which box you've got, you'll be allowed some percentage of that to be put into.
Sorry about that, guys. Had to take the dog out for a wee and I left it on the wrong screen. Silly me.
Package. So let's just say, for argument's sake, 10% of your 1,000. So the 1,900 will be locked up and be held there for you potentially to tick some boxes along the way to release those funds. But the 100 will be able to be used towards a package. And so you can buy that initial package, including that 100, buy that package and get your 3 times on that, which will, of course, will start adding to your pending rewards over time. But your existing pending rewards that you had over here that you brought into HyperNation, that's where the pending rewards will start to get paid out from, or sorry, those pending rewards, yeah, they'll start to come out at the rate they should come out within HyperNation. So whatever the rate was over in HyperVerse, that was over in HyperVerse, and it was based on the team and whatever situation you are in over there. But the pending rewards will come across here now, and they'll get paid out based on whatever's happening in your account in HyperNation. And for me, this is a very clever way of them doing what they said they would do, which is allowing people to bring across their pending rewards, which I'm sure we're all very happy for and certainly grateful for. But it'll be coming out at a different rate, and obviously I would expect a much slower rate initially. And this is a way for the company to, bring this across, give us everything that we are due, but not put themselves in a position where they're having to pay out huge money straight away as they develop this system out. And so for me, it's very clever. It's honest, it's transparent. And by the way, just my
welcome, ladies.
That might not be the way this is going to work. It makes sense that would be the way.
Yeah.
Hope you're not too intrigued. Just on the other screen there on the left here, that's my mate Rob, and he's done a hour. How long's your video, Rob? Hour 20 talk about logicalness. We're going to listen to him about.
There are meetings, and people can go along, and they can get the hype, and they can get. There's such a risk to the bank or lending institution.
He's got some really good points.
I talk about.
He's a good mate of mine. He's also new to YouTube, so if you do go on there and offer some comments, it will be wrapped, as we all are when we're first starting out. But the good thing to remember is that using logic is something a lot of people don't do. They just believe a friend or a family member who's done it and think they'll do the same. It's like leapfrog, isn't it? So check out his video. I will leave a link there, but over that we'll search for, I think it's Rob Woolley. I'll go back to his YouTube. Oh, that's a bad pose, Rob. But he's got quite a few other wee videos on there as well. But yeah, by all means, he put that out this morning and he has had 120 views. No, he hasn't. He's had 102 views in 6 hours, so it's pretty cool. So, it's a really good doco on HyperVerse. All right, let's get back to these guys. What's the time? Hour 28. I will actually, while I've got you here, I'm going to do another click. Helps me line up my audio. I know it sounds boring, but let's get back to these idiots. And we are.
I read it the same way. Is your whatever they release, which they haven't done yet. They will say this is what will move over. This is what you can use to buy membership packages, and pending rewards from HV are migrating over. We'll bring Keith on in a minute as well.
This is ridiculous because here they are telling you that you can use HU dollars, which is their currency in their platform, not on any exchange, and you can use their money in their platform. However, the other platform that theoretically is the same same, oh, what do you call it? Identity? The same entity has got HU dollars as well, but you can't use those HU dollars in HyperNation because they don't want those HU dollars, because they want more USDT from you and your crypto. And it's just, this is how fraud this whole system is incredible. And yes, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Keith.
Keith's on the call as well, so he'll be able to add
his 2 cents worth of lies,
some extra information. But this is the way we see it. Look, we always knew that this was a new way of doing things. And don't forget, this is when you work as a community.
So look at my picture. See the big sad face? I bet everyone that's rushed out and bought a yellow NFT thinking, is that it? Is that all you got for us? After waiting all this time, waiting another 2 weeks, and we still haven't got anything to go and visit in the HyperNation. And as I showed earlier on, all the images that you can see that HyperNation are using are actually from Shutterstock. So they haven't even created their own imagery. They've pinched it from a Briman royalty-free website where you can buy images and then put their own name on top of them. How fraud is that? These guys are disgusting, maggot-filled, infested carcasses that need to be thrown off the ship and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. Ha ha.
We help each other. What makes the company any different? We want to help the company to be able to make this.
Oh, please explain to us more about the company. Who's behind it? What happened to Stephen Rees-Lewis, your CEO of HyperVerse? He disappeared, didn't even say goodbye. And then we can't find him anywhere because he's not a real person. He's a paid actor. What about Hope Hill, who was the compliance officer for HyperVerse? What happened to her? Oh, that's right. Her name's not Hope Hill. We found the real Hope Hill, whatever her name is. It's not Hope Hill. And she's been locked up in prison for fraud. And then what about other people that are associated with this, like Kalpesh Patel, who's also been locked up in prison? He got investigated for fraud. It was 25 million. There's 12 of them in it. He admitted the fraud. Anyway, he got away with it somehow. But however, while he was being investigated, he broke his bail conditions. So they managed to nail that on him, knocked him up for 12 months and gave him a $330,000 fine for his dealings with that. So he's been in prison. And then you've got Sharon James. She's also been in prison, and she's all so. And then a couple of 3 weeks ago, we have Slay the Dragon, I call him, and he had been in prison twice, once for 2.5 years, and the other time for 2.5 years. And then it wasn't because of fraud; it was because of his upbringing, and he's got out of that, and he's changed his lifestyle. And then he tells us how now he's a professional scammer and he's living a good lifestyle. Really? Okay. And the other one is Des Amy, who owns a company called Amy Financial Academy. And he's basically copied the format of another Ponzi scheme called IM Academy. And he was on the leadership meetings last week talking about how Keith was blowing him up like he's a hero. And he was making out, I've seen videos of him saying that he has a floor on this prestigious building in London, and he is claiming that he's on the top floor, and it finishes up that he's on the 37th floor, and he rents a room, unit number 26, in Regis offices, and doesn't own the whole floor. And also Keith was saying that he was speaking at the Houses of Commerce, and he wasn't. He was there with his business networking group, and they had something that they did, and he was given a summary of the whatever they did. All these people that have been involved in HyperVerse, the ones where I do my due diligence and find out their backgrounds, it's appalling. And if you do a search with anyone's name and scam at the end of it, you'll find that these guys are riddled with multi-level marketing, and they're just people who've had NLP training, are no good, and they're just out there to scam, and they're only worried about building their own wealth. Now, there's no denying it that HyperVerse has made these VIP5s a lot of money. Now, HyperNation has come along and offered them $10,000 and $100,000 packages. Simply put, if HyperNation is a different entity, they're literally trying to get the money back from these people who've made a lot of money. It's ridiculous. So these people who are trying to scam you are getting scammed by, this is multiple scamming going on.
The most amazing experience ever. And that means that, we're all part of that team. We're all part of that community. we're helping them, they're helping us. We can launch a whole load of NFTs and a million different.
I just can't believe they're really pushing these NFTs, to be honest. It makes me sick. Remember the disclaimer at the start basically said that they can change the pricing structure at any time they want. And obviously they don't want multiple memberships, which is ironic. And the video before this one, you can actually watch a video of Keith Williams telling people that it's okay to create multiple accounts. But then he is talking about how Capiche has been one of the ones, the instigator of creating multiple accounts. Obviously, he's just trying to throw his mates under the bus. It's called deflection. Anytime anyone stands up to Keith, they call it deflection. Well, he deflects by throwing things at me. Even the messages that I have from Keith here, you can see that Keith's tactics is to be a bully. And he thinks that he can just yell at somebody and they'll shut up. Now you've got in this very PDF here telling you that if you're not a community leader and if you don't fall in line and you question or do things like create a YouTube channel and doesn't paint a good picture for HyperVerse, they will kick you out. I mean, is this for real?
Things. So don't get stuck on the small stuff now. Yes, you know, things are going to improve. And you can see they've put a lot of work into this. So when people say, oh, what have they been doing for the past few months? Believe me, they've been doing a huge amount of work, because all of this takes a lot of working out, planning, organizing, and actually churning through the numbers to see how this can be moved into a whole new way of doing things. Guess what? The other great...
Guess what? I mean, I say so and ands a lot, but this guy keeps saying, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Must be a sound that goes with that. Guess what? Guess what? I'm going to do that every time he does it.
The thing is, nobody is doing anything like this.
Wonder why? Nobody's doing something like this. Really? Oh.
Out there at all.
No one's scamming people as good as you are. That's why I do so many videos.
Even in the NFT world. So this is totally unique.
Honestly, you've got a CoffeeZilla. Go watch this video on NFTs, man. They reckon it's the biggest heist in the modern world is NFTs.
Yeah, so look, I'll flick the last two. I don't think we need to spend much time on. Community rewards are subject to the results of the accumulated sales in totality, and this excludes the sales.
So they've just created a sales team, haven't they? There's no rocket science there. All the people that are involved with HyperVerse are multi-level marketers at their finest, and now they've moved on to the biggest scam. They all have had history of multi-level marketing, and this leadership meetings that they have are all about training people how to be better at sales. I mean, some of the training techniques that Kalpesh Patel did at the start were really, really cool. I've got earlier videos of those where he tells you how to handle a sales call. It's amazing. So yes, sales teams. So yes, this is all about sales. It's all about money, but this is not a financial opportunity. This is an opportunity to become part of a community, but we reward people in HU that is now worthless. You can't exchange it into any other currency to get it back into your bank account. But don't worry, they're building a better world, a better future, and they use crypto as an example, because crypto used to be worth 5 cents, and then it got up to nearly $100, didn't it, before it crashed back down to, is it $11 or 20, I don't know, $20 in crypto. So it's a real volatile market, isn't it?
Sales from the highest performer direct download. We've touched on that already, and that's that. So I'm going to go back to this slide here, because I think that probably gives us the opportunity.
That's the only one he really understands that's what he's trying to say. All the other one doesn't make any sense. And I don't even know who this guy is. Vivian O'Callaghan. Vivian O'Callaghan. And notice he can spell his, I don't know if you can notice that small picture, but he can spell his name in capitalized letter, not like Pinakee Naik. He is all lowercase.
To wrap all this up, I'll go back to the car sales guy just for a second and go, now imagine a car sales guy who is adding massive value. He's selling cars every day. Things are absolutely flying it. What's that car salesperson doing? Well, number one, he's ensuring that the business is in good stead, because he's adding massive value to that business, which in turn means the business can...
So you're all employees now, right? How's your employment contract looking?
Offer him a really, not only is he getting a good income, but maybe there's additional for bonuses for selling whatever number of cars. There's more opportunity is the point. But the first and foremost thing is, if the company itself is solid, then everything else can continue. If the company itself is not solid, then it's shaky ground for everybody, not just the company, but for everybody involved. So
this is the 4th rebrand that I know of, and it's not actually, it's the 10th rebrand roughly. If you go through, there's a really good channel out there called Project Frugal. He goes through every one, telling you how it is. So this company just keeps reskinning itself, taking the assets, if there is any assets, which is the sales team, setting up a new Ponzi scheme and going for the hit. Everyone invests in the first 6 weeks, and then everyone loses all the money, and then they just have excuses after excuse for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months. Amazing. HyperVerse only come out December the 20th, I think. So now it's crashed quite earlier on. The one that seems to have made the most traction, or whatever time period it was 2021 April. It seemed like a ton of people got involved in HyperVerse about then. So that was when it peaks. And if you go and have a look at MOF or HTV, or HVT, I'll get that around the way, HyperVerse, HVT, you can see they have got spikes in growth. And they are the 2 peaks where I reckon they must have been really going for it. And that's when Kalpesh Patel and Keith Williams were taking out $1 million a month easily. That's what they were taking out, $35,000 a day. And obviously Kalpesh got to the stage where alleged he was taking out $10 million a day, and all his downline were helping themselves to the cookie jar as well. And that's the reason it fell over. And then the crash of crypto, no money left for anyone and everyone gone. So all the people at the bottom are the ones that lose. Same here. People at the top, the sales team, have already gone over with purple and platinum NFTs. They've got all the assets, and now they're trying to sell it to the memes, which are $100. And now you've got to go and buy a $400 membership. And people go, well, what about the $100 I just spent? They go, no, you need to buy a membership. The $100 was just to get your ticket into this stupid platform. You've paid an entry ticket to an arcade game. Congratulations on that one. How'd that work out for you?
It's in our own interest to ensure that the company is in a solid place. And so it makes sense.
It makes sense.
That they're setting this up. But the biggest question anyone would probably ask,
would you invest in this? Would a financial advisor tell you this is a good investment opportunity? If you went to your local authorities, maybe if you went to the company office and found out whereabouts is this company registered, whether they have offices, can you contact them? Can you speak to the people that aren't hiding behind a mask? All these questions is the biggest questions that people should ask. And just because a friend or a family member recommended I get involved in it, why can't I do my own investigation? Literally, it took me 1 minute to figure out this was a Ponzi scheme, and I wasn't even hopeful. I didn't have the right attitude. So due diligence, look it up on Wikipedia, see what it means, and you'll find that now you're not even allowed to ask any questions that might be painting it in a negative light because you'll have your account removed. Unreal.
Be it already in or looking at coming in to HyperNation is why. Why would I get involved? Well, the first carrot that's there to draw people in is,
great terminology. That's all they do is give you carrots. So I'm going to love this one.
You can get, up to 3 times your money. So that's pretty big deal for anybody. I mean, you ask anybody anywhere, if you can put in X amount of money and get 3 times your money back, that's very nice. Okay.
Now I'm going to pinch something from Rob Woolley's video thing. Now, so this is a new company looking for money so that they can grow. So instead of going to the bank and getting a 15% loan like a lot of us would, they've decided to go out and offer people 300% or 400% return if they loan them money. Now, why would you do that if this was a feasible business opportunity? Why would you pay ridiculous 300 or 400 or 500% interest on people loaning you money? When if this was such a good business opportunity, they could have just theoretically gone off to the bank and borrowed it at 15%. Why wouldn't the bank give them a loan, I wonder? And you are now going to give them a loan of your money with no guarantees for $300, $400, or $500. Are you for real?
Okay, so that's a lovely carrot to draw people into HyperNation. But the real key here is the opportunity. And this is what brings us away.
Every single Ponzi scheme out there, they talk about an opportunity that you're going to miss out with. And they put a deadline on it, just like they put 15th of July. the 25th of July, the 28th of July as deadlines that they didn't even keep to themselves is ridiculous. And they create urgency, so you need to get involved. It just makes me sick, to be honest. Now, this is really bad, really, isn't it? Because they actually are asking you to invest in an opportunity that isn't real. And these guys should be made accountable for feeding this to you.
Above and beyond what was there in HyperVerse. And they, like I said, they've seen the couple of issues that were there that caused them problems from that whole cash flow point of view. They've fixed all of those.
No, they haven't. The problem was crypto dying. And when crypto was pumping, they could afford to pay people the rewards. They could afford to pay people the rewards so that they knew that the more people they paid rewards, the more people would rave about this. And that's why this grew. This grew at the same peak as crypto was climbing. Everyone was happy for about 4 or 5 months because crypto just kept going up, up, and up. And everyone thought it wasn't going to fall. And look how hard it hit. And the same with these theScams. So the reason this fell over is because if you work it out that, let's say everybody who recruits needs to recruit 2 people, and them, they're 2 people, they're 2 people, they're 2 people, draw a pyramid. There's only so many people in the Black African community who are religious, who are easily scammed, that you can feed this rubbish to before they wake up and go, oh, I've been scammed, I've lost lots of money. So that's why this cannot get traction, because there's not enough idiots in the world, or dummies, as my picture says. Look at my picture. This is for dummies, for this scheme to actually be successful. So get out of this. Don't invest in it. This is not a good opportunity, and it's just backed up with nothing. If this is a great investment opportunity, then give us credibility. Prove this is a good investment. Let us see the people behind this company. Let us look at the books. Let's go to the company office and look up and see their returns at the end of the year. That's what it's all talking about, kids.
And that's where this contribution point thing really, really comes into play. But now how they can use that as they move through is phenomenal, because now they can encourage people that as they're getting, so they've brought those people in, let's assume completely new people, everyone here is sort of aware, but you're making your 3 times. As those pending rewards come out now, the only game in town isn't just withdrawing them. It's, okay, there's this really cool NFT project going on sale. We're getting to go on it. We are getting to be the very first people to mint this particular project. If you look into it and you know a little bit about NFTs and you go, well, this looks really strong and I think there could be really good upside here. And we're getting to get in there first. Well, I want to buy 1. Maybe I want to buy 5, but maybe it's linked to your contribution points as to how many you can buy. So maybe if you're at V1, maybe you can only buy 1. Or, if you're at
maybe, don't really know. What I can tell, all those, they're just in the dark and they still want you to invest in this opportunity. Unreal. These guys are criminals. Don't be easily led.
5, you can buy 5. If you choose to, of course, you don't have to. Or maybe there's different tiers of those NFTs, as there often is. And maybe depending on your contribution points, it decides which tiers you can buy into, which will have, that bigger potential down the line. So the contribution points can be tied to anything. I have no idea if it is. We do know, obviously, it's tied to your national level, but maybe they can go, well, if you take part in this DeFi project here where you're earning a nice return, then that will help in your contribution points. Maybe
you should have got together and helped them do their PowerPoint presentation. It sounds like a great idea.
You decide to stake MOF, that there'll be some contribution points to that.
Keith will be kicking himself. Oh, we should have put that in there because that would have been a good idea.
Maybe you need to stake some MOF, or if you stake some MOF, that it will make the gun that you want to buy cheaper within, or maybe you have to have a certain V level to.
Did he say gun that you want to buy to be cheaper? Or garden? I don't know. Are we buying guns? Is this a Space Invader game?
Be able to buy a spaceship.
Oh my God, I've always wanted to buy a spaceship. Must have a sound for that, surely. Spaceship sound. Let's have a look. Spaceship. I've got space music. Okay, let's do some music. Here we go, some music. This is called Space. It's not very good, is it? How about some bongo drums? Let's get some, yeah, look at that, eh?
Maybe you need to have, a certain number of V2s, V1s, 2s, and 3s in your outfit before you
We need some trees.
can take the spaceship somewhere. So
Oh, did he just say what I think he said? You're going to buy a spaceship and then you want to take it somewhere, so you need to buy some stuff. What sort of fuel does the spaceship run that lives on HyperNation? Woo! That's quite funny, I thought. What happens if your spaceship crashes? And then you're all out in the middle of the solar system by yourself, looking for some survival. And then these guys from behind the hill start doing horrible things like trying to shoot you.
So many ways they can tie all of this in.
Yeah.
But the real beauty is if they can...
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Almost really encourage us in through the rewards that we receive and the contribution points that we get, that in turn helps those rewards anyway. If they can get us to ensure that we log in every day and so on. Why is the logging in every day important? So you can imagine HyperNation as a company going to a certain project, let's say a really, really good NFT project. And that NFT project is thinking, will I launch on this Hyper NFT, or will I launch on this OpenSea? Well, let's just say you're bringing out an NFT with 10,000 pieces, which is, relatively standard. You can put it out in OpenSea. Who's going to know about it? How are they going to know it's there? Who's going to want to buy it? I have no idea. And that is probably the biggest challenge. Or
oh my God,
you can
Keith's
go
here.
to a community where they say, well, look, we have, the number doesn't matter. Let's say 100,000 people who are logging in every day. Now, to the NFT people, that's absolutely music to their ears. We're trying to sell 10,000 of them. We can go onto this community and have 100,000 people be aware of this NFT in 24 hours. That's incredible and very attractive. So what does that allow Hyper NFT do? They can do an extraordinarily good deal on those NFTs for anyone that buys it through the Hyper platform. So that creates value for us. So we've created value for HyperNation by logging on every day, very simple task. And they in turn, because of that, have huge negotiating power, which gives them and us a really good deal on the NFT. In fact, the fact we even get that really good NFT opportunity that we may not get on OpenSea. So there are so many ways that if we just give a little to allow the company to have that value to then...
I think it's not fair for them to say company when there is no such company, because I don't know everything about crypto and fiat currencies and wallets and the like. All have their own terminology. And all of a sudden, this company, as we know, you're allowed to say it's a company, but it's not a company because it's not registered anywhere. You talk about having compliance in China, for God's sake, but there's no company. So why are you calling it a company? I think that's misleading to people. You need to come up with your own Gumutuma.
Want to attract the very best opportunities for us, then we're helping each other. We help the company, they help us. Simple as that.
Keith's here. Going to get Keith on now? And
that's what these contribution points are all about. It's for people to be active and let the world know about HyperNation.
Yeah, just a very quick overview. Basically, it's very similar to what you've already seen, but now, when you log in,
sounds like a rinse and repeat. And when you log in every day, and when you recruit people, then you'll be able to build yourself and get your rewards that they say you can potentially earn.
You'll be aware of what's coming or what is about to be launched. And here's the thing, and why would a company actually come to us? Firstly, because everybody who's a member of HyperNation, and I'm not talking every single person, but all of us who are in this part of the community are getting daily rewards. So now you can say, well,
who's getting daily rewards? What are you talking about, you idiot? No one's getting daily rewards. No, these we did work out that with the Tron scan, I had it here somewhere, that people were saying that there was $32,000 going in and out of the Tron scan for HU. Now, $32,000 for the million members doesn't really add up. So somebody's shifting money around or doing something, but not the people that are getting the daily rewards. Don't know where you got that one from, Pinakee Naik.
I'll extract some and I'll turn it into XYZ, or maybe I'll go and buy some NFTs.
Maybe you'll get a brain or get a brain transplant, mate.
And now you can see where the value is coming in. So the old idea of fear of missing out is now turning out to fear of not logging in.
Oh my God.
If you don't log in, you're going to miss out.
Oh my God.
And when your friend says, "Oh wow, what did you do?" Well, I logged in every day. What you couldn't do. So,
Oh no.
you know, that's where we bring in Keith.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is going to be funny. Hey, just before we get started, as I said, I've been corresponding with Keith. He loves me to bits. Correspondence. So I did a video yesterday, and it was a 2020 video, and Keith was telling people it's okay to buy multiple memberships. And on there, in the notes of it, I found his cell phone number. So I thought I'd send him a message. So I crashed one of their Zoom meetings once, and I got to talk to Keith. And I said, how does he get to sleep at night? Knowing that he's scamming people. And he raved on about all sorts of things. And anyway, finished up putting a video on that too. If you want the link, give me the comments. It'd be awesome. And I'll put it in the link there. But anyway, so I said, after watching the 2020 video that he was in, he actually did a really good job of explaining, explaining the terminology that are used in crypto. So I thought, well, that's quite cool. So what I might do is see if I can get it into another screen. I think it may be easy for you guys to see it on a double screen. And then if I put it down here, that might work. I don't know if that's bigger or worse, but anyway, let's go with that for now. So I wrote him a message and I basically said, later on I found that he was basically talking, how do I explain that? In another Zoom meeting, they were talking about me jumping in to their Zoom meeting and causing some disruption. And he was talking about how Danny was just the new kid on the block. And then when I messaged him on LinkedIn, he was basically saying that my video only had 100 visitors and I was no one. He's not very nice because he talks about how he's lovely, but he's not really. Anyway, so I thought once I had his number, I sent him a message and I said, "Hi Keith, just been watching you in a 2020 hyper fun, hyper community. You were explaining crypto terms and it was very good." And he goes, "Hi Danny, thank you, much appreciated." And then I asked him, has HyperNation opened yet? The big question. And he said, "I'm only the new kid on the block, as you have said, but I've been doing amazingly well since being involved in HyperVerse." And what I mean by being involved in HyperVerse was simply because I'm doing all these YouTube videos. I honestly feel like I'm part of the community, and I do. Anyway, so he come back, and this is how snarky he is. And he always talks about how he is a nice guy, and he always answers everyone lovely. But this is how sarcastic he is to me.
Telegram.
Oh, did that not going to work? Oh, no, I don't have to read it to you, do you?
Telegram.
Ah, okay. It says, well, you was in a bad place financially, weren't you? So are you able to pay your rent now and support your family from the negativity of your peddling? So you're getting paid from telling lies and spreading fear, similar to a parasite. As I said, you were desperate a few months back, and you had to find a way to survive, a side hustle, right? So yeah, so that was quite funny. But anyway, then I wrote back and said, "I think you've brainwashed yourself, my friend. It's pretty obvious it's a scam. It's not rocket science, it's the heck science. Look at all the people that have lost the money in HyperVerse, and you keep preaching the message that you're changing people's lives, but you seem to forget about all the people you're stealing from. You literally are stealing money from the poor," I put poor instead of poor, "and giving it to the rich." I'll just go back to full screen. It's better. Sorry about that, but I've got too many screens today. "You prey on the Black African community and people who share your religious beliefs. As I said, how do you sleep at night? Your method of taking people, your method for talking to people and stand up." Oh, I can't even read what I wrote. I voiced my stuff onto the computer. So whenever Keith gets someone who's in his face, he has this look that he goes like leather face, and then he goes after them like a ball in a china shop. and he just basically shoots them down. So I said that those exalting will be humbled and those humbling will be exalted. I'm exposing people who are scamming people out of their money with Ponzi schemes. You are the lowest form of human. Can't wait until you leave Earth and live in the HyperNation. Anyway, enjoy your training today. Can't wait to watch the video. So yeah, just thought I'd share that with you. But anyway, let's get back and see what Keith's got to say about this PDF that they've been given after waiting 5. How many days did they wait for it? 10 plus 3. They've been waiting a long time. So they still haven't got the entry to the HyperNation.
I'll just say one last thing, sorry.
Yes.
Like the additional point to that, and there's many additional points we could make, but if you then go, imagine you buy one of these NFTs and it does really well. Let's just say it might do.
Imagine. I can't imagine that, mate. NFTs are worthless pieces of shit, bit like you scammers.
3, 10, 20, 50, 100, and
He's going to get trees for them.
NFTs do that. No, they also can go the other way, don't get me wrong at all. But imagine you do really well with one, and then you're telling your mate, geez, I bought an NFT there a few weeks ago and it's after gone up.
But they've done that, been there, done that. This is old, mate. You're about 1.5 2 years out of it. NFTs have had that moment. And now, as you go and watch CoffeeZilla's new video, talking about how you can, NFTs, there's too many NFTs in the world for them to store them on the blockchain. So you're not actually buying an NFT that's secured by blockchain. You're only buying the treasure gold map. What do they call it? Gold, I don't know, treasure map, which is the address to where the NFT lives. So it's all baloney anyway. This NFT stuff is crap, and you guys are behind the 8 ball.
And this much money and choose a matter. Where'd you get that? Oh, I bought it on the NFT, the Hyper NFT platform. Oh, cool. What's that about? I'm aware of OpenSea. What's that one about? Oh, well, look, all you need to do, get a green box, get in there. It opens up the door to this stuff. And
what's a green box? New box. Tell us about the green box.
You have unreal opportunities. By the way, you can get a 3x on your money or up to. But also you get...
You can get a tree X. What's a tree X, man? Are you some sort of like... what do they call those guys? Tree logger. What do they call that?
Exposed.
He's an arborist.
To all these other amazing things. Do you think it would be difficult for to get someone to have a look at that green box and consider getting into HyperNation? I'm telling you, they'll run through you for it.
I get it. The green boxes are trees. Green tree. Duh, silly me.
So there is a completely change of mindset as to what we have here. The 3X is lovely for certain, sure, and it gives you that money to make decisions on where you go next with it. And we'll have all those opportunities within HyperNation. But the attraction from the outside world into HyperNation is just going to be absolutely phenomenal at a completely different level to where maybe we've been used to before.
Yeah, totally.
Keith.
Predictable. Morning, Pinakee. Morning, Vivian. How you guys doing?
Good morning.
Very good. Good morning.
Amazing training. Listen, we only had I think we got the information yesterday, had a little run through last night, but you guys have smashed it out of the park. Awesome training. With such little information, you've created an hour of just a run
dribble is the word you're looking for, Keith. Dribble. A lot of dribble.
Through that, I think gives us a lot more clarity. What I loved about your training today and the team around you is that you
managed to create enough bullshit for people still not to know whether this is a scam or not.
Are looking at what's being delivered and you're figuring it out. We haven't been given all the information, and you're prepared to deliver that information to those that still believe. And
for those who still believe, the tea leaves that are left from the drinking of the tea.
Buy into this beautiful new platform, new direction to a certain degree. So I want to thank you both for doing this. Of course, I was going to jump on, and I'm glad that you've recorded it because
I'm glad you recorded it as well, but this has been one of the most boring presentations I've actually been part of, to be honest. Who wants to sit here and be death by PowerPoint?
This is a great resource for many of the HyperNation.
Well, I try my best, thanks, Keith.
And those that are still thinking about jumping into the HyperNation new idea.
Those are still thinking about following the Pied Piper off a cliff and taking a jump and hoping they don't hit the bottom of the ocean and break into a million trillion bits. Now, what would that sound like? That would sound like this, wouldn't it? Ow, hit the bottom.
New platform, because I think it's fabulous. I won't add too much to what you've said. You've covered everything, and I think you've hit the nail on the head on every aspect. I love the fact that
Imagine living life as a scammer, though, and having to watch everything you say because you might be exposed at any minute, and worrying about having this sound on your door, and somebody going, hey, are you Keith Williams? And they go, yep. And they go, well, you need to come with me, little man. We're going to put you away for a wee while so you can do no more scams. Oh, but I'm not really scamming people because we switched out a few words. It's not an investment opportunity. We offer a rewards program. Oh, sorry, the policeman will say. We'll let you go back home. Okay, then.
they have got a system of contribution, and you have to develop a contribution level in order for you to maintain. And that's beautiful. Again,
beautiful. Close up. Beautiful.
You know, HyperVerse, HyperFund, the program, it's been the best program I've ever seen in 25, 30 years of being in the industry. And it had an inherent beauty. However, there were elements of it that, as you said, Pinakee, that people took advantage of and exploited. And the last 6 months.
Sorry, Keith, did you not watch your own video that we had done yesterday? It was recorded 2 years ago, and you literally were telling people to create multiple accounts yourself. And you were saying, don't do it unless you are really clever. And then you just showed everyone how clever you were. It's disgusting. So go to my last video, and it's got 2020 on it, the picture, and click on you can go into the timestamps or the comment section. I actually copied the description and posted in there as well. And you can go to the part where Keith is encouraging people to have multiple accounts. So he's now claiming that that is the reason that this fell over, but he was also one of the ones encouraging people to create a little bit of extra money, but he would have got that formula and done it. So he's the reason why HyperVerse fell over, because he had multiple accounts and wasn't bringing in new people. That's why this new system is all about, contributing and bringing in new people, because Ponzi schemes can't survive unless you bring in new recruits all day long. And mathematically, if you get a calculator, you'll find the same thing going on. Anyway, on the right screen, I've got the PDF, and if you want the PDF, go into the show notes. I'll put a Dropbox link in there and you can download it. But do not invest in this, but just so you can see what rubbish it is. But I'll flip through the PowerPoint presentation while Keith spends the next 6 or 7 minutes winding up.
Everything came to a head, not just the fact that there's parts of the old plan that just needed to be readdressed. Yeah, I mean, I've been here since, and you have, Pinakee, since the very early days, and Vivian yourself from the very early days. And let's be honest, we're networkers, and there's individuals that have been on this platform for.
Keith, did you just say, let's be honest? Incredible. Hey, I'm just going to do my clicker thing to help my thing. So here I go. Make sure I can see it properly. Where is it there? All right, thanks, guys. That's so I can line up the sound properly. You carry on, Keith. Double screen. Let's do it.
Year or two, and haven't had to do any work whatsoever. So literally, they became headhunters for networkers and grafters. That's what they've done. Found one or two great leaders or great networkers from other programs, got them involved, and have had a real wonderful ride for 2 years.
Are you blowing your own trumpet, Keith?
And they've done very well from the platform. And my conversations with the company over the last year, we identified that. I mean, my entire upline practically had an amazing journey in Hyper. I get them complaining because they can't withdraw right now. Well, rightly so. I mean, if you haven't been able to survive on what you've been able to achieve over the last couple of years, I'm sure every single one of you on this call would love to change spots with them. But the reality is that they've identified the hole that they've had to plug. They've done that really well, and I believe what they've.
How come you're still here, Keith?
In HyperNation is a much fairer system. And I would say that, and I spent two and a half years here, and you know, as I said, it's embarrassing the fact that they will continue to pay. They were continuing to pay, and the level they had no limits. I mean, it was just incredible what they were able to do, and I think they've realized that their generosity has sort of, to some degree been a big thorn for them, and maybe an issue that they've had to take care of right now. I'm really excited, Pinakee and Vivian, because I'll just end with this. HyperVerse, HyperFund, we had a fantastic idea and concept, but the world has changed since 2020 dramatically, not just in terms of what's going on outside of the crypto space, but you look at the conflict. I mean, the recession, they keep talking about recession, global recession, a global depression. And that is now, and I'm beginning to see the little green shoots. Guys, just pay attention to what's going on. The little green shoots in the crypto space. And recession is certainly helping the market to become a little bit more bullish. That is very important. I'm kicking myself today because 2 weeks ago, or less than 2 weeks ago, Vivian, you'll know this, Ethereum was at $900. I scratched my head and thought, wow. And inside me, I was saying I should buy some Ethereum. I mean, $900 is less than $1,000 for Ethereum. In the high, it was over 4,000. At $900, it represented to me good value, but the cautious side in me saying, well, I better just hold on to what I've got. Let's leave it in a little bit of USDT and not take any risks. But guess what today? It's just under $1,800. I mean, in 2 weeks, you would have doubled if you took that risk in just Ethereum. So these guys are waiting for this bullish market to really grab hold. And they are going to certainly, this is a 3-year plan, guys. It is minimum 3 years. They will take care of all the issues in HyperVerse. I know that because I've had many conversations. And Pinakee, you said it, it's easier for them to shut up shop and just say, guys, we did our best. Those of you that benefited, brilliant, good, I'm really happy that we've turned your lives around. The rest of you, well, the industry, where we are right now, we just overextended. We've got to close down, but they haven't chosen that route. What they've said is, guys, we know we've got a liability over the other side that we've got to deal with, and they're going to deal with that. But we still have to grow. And Vivian, you said it right. If you have a car lot and you've got 10 guys working for you and no one's selling cars, how long are you going to be paying those guys? I mean, let's be honest, okay, right? A couple of months of no car sales and everybody will be shown, the door. That's it, done. And that's business, and that's what we've got to understand. But you guys have smashed it out of the park. I'll end on that. Guys, just keep hope alive. There are tens of thousands now that have joined Hyper from HyperVerse, as well as from outside. They have, because of the advertising campaign, the bill posters.
Bullshit. I reckon they're really struggling getting people to buy these NFTs, because why else would they say they're going to open the HyperNation on the 15th of July and then extend it? Because they tell you it's a good thing. They're letting people get in, extend it for another 10 days. And then it gets to 10 days and then they go, oh, there's still people who can't figure out how to buy these NFTs. Let's teach the Black African community and let's give them lots of praise Jah, and get them to sign up, and then extend it another 3 days. And then on the 31st of July, they still haven't opened it. And they're now giving them a PowerPoint presentation. They're stringing people along, wanting people to invest. This is just a money-making thing. This guy on my screen is Keith Williams. I would say he's the second biggest scammer in the world. The biggest scammer in the world is actually Kalpesh Patel, and he's theoretically fleeced the scammers. Well done. You're my hero. I want to interview you, Kalpesh. I think you've done well. You've brought down one of the biggest scams. Now, yes, Kalpesh may have taken a whole lot of money, but he deserves that money because otherwise these guys would have continuously scammed people. Now you think about this. The doors of HyperVerse are still open. So if I went along here and I went to H5, full screen, H5, and I went to login, username and password. Oh, I have one. I have not invested in HyperVerse, just thought I'd let you know that. And now we should get a Google verification. All right, I'm logging into HyperVerse, and I get rid of Mr. H. I've got to log in every day now, don't I? I know. Here I am. And I want membership, and I can still buy memberships. So let's say I want to buy the big one. All I need to do is proceed to deposit, and it's given me a wallet address to send the money to. Now, if that is the case, why are they allowing people to still sign up for HyperVerse? People who haven't been watching all these YouTube videos and they haven't been listening to the leadership team, they are still scamming people. In fact, the leadership team are still telling people that they need to carry on as normal, and they need to, keep selling the products. And the product is memberships. And the more you invest, the more your return on investment. Imagine I went there today, seen 4 times my return on investment in 1,330 days, and I signed up today. And then they're going to say to you, oh, so you invested just recently. Oh, no one's been paid out for months. However, don't worry, if you spend another 100 USDT, you'll get a ticket to HyperNation. And when you get to HyperNation, they're going to manually negotiate with you to give you your money back. But that's only once you are in HyperNation. So you lose your $100 in HyperNation, and then they're going to negotiate. Then they're going to come back and say to you, oh, actually, because so many people have created multiple accounts, we don't know which ones are real and which ones are not real. So we don't know if you're real. Sorry, Danny. Oh, okay then. And then they go, but in the meantime, I'm waiting 6 months for the rewards. I can see I've got a lot of rewards. I've got the 3 or 4 times reward. One guy I said earlier on has $83,000. They're going to, now they've told you in this, they're going to mint NFTs. So they're probably going to let you use your reward money to buy worthless NFTs that they're going to mint. Now, I don't know about you. Crypto was designed for unregulated monies. The banks, the government, when they need money, what do? They print more money. Now they're talking about minting their own NFTs. So that's theoretically their money, and they're talking about minting it. So everything is going to be worthless. This whole exercise is disgusting and a waste of time. And Keith, if he's not the one that's behind HyperVerse, and Kalpesh Patel, I still believe this is all part of the exit strategy. I mean, the people's names like Sam, Ryan, Jaden are all guys who are meant to be behind it with Hypertech Group, Hyperfund, HyperVerse, HyperNation, and they keep flogging these guys. They've already brought you out a CEO called Stephen Rees-Lewis who doesn't really exist. I'm getting off. Let's him finish, and then I'll do a rant.
A whole bunch of new, citizens into HyperNation. I'm truly excited, guys. Thank you for doing this today, and I hope this recording gets out quickly so others.
Yeah, I got it.
Just get excited as we are. Brilliant.
Thank you very much, Keith. Thank you, Vivian. I'm just going to end with, don't forget that everybody has joined, whoever you've joined this is, when we talk about this idea of, the car lot with the guy selling cars, this doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to go and refer someone or anything like that. This is a choice. This is also about being a citizen and helping the community.
Help the community do what, you loser?
So just by taking part within HyperNation is part of that story too.
Have you got any information that can lead? I want this guy's phone number if you wouldn't mind. I've got Keith's, and I've got another lady called Amanda Lee, and I wouldn't mind Pinakee Naik's phone number as well, if you wouldn't mind.
So it's not just all...
Just go to theheck.com, go to the contact us page and send it to me anonymously if you like.
One-sided. Look, not all of us are salespeople. Not all of us like selling cars. Some of us like fixing cars. Some of us like washing cars. So
what about spaceships? You into that too? Can you wash my spaceship?
So all of us are part of this. The point is, we're all active members of this community.
speak for yourself and your emergency meetings that you had to run this week so you knew what bullshit to feed people.
And that's the most important part. Don't be somebody who sits there doing nothing and then complains 6 months later.
I promise I will be proactive at exposing your Ponzi scheme. How's that?
I don't know what's going on. Well, grow up and basically
Grow up. Oh my God.
take control of your life.
Oh my God. Really? Is that how, take control of your life? So that means if you don't listen to this hypothetical world and take control of your life, you haven't grown up.
It's down to you at the end of the day. What you put in is what you'll get out.
You put shit in and you get shit out, okay?
And that's not even on a monetary terms. So I'm going to stop the recording now.
Oh man, that's it. It's all gone. Oh, that wasn't very exciting. What was exciting was obviously the PowerPoint presentation. If you do want the PowerPoint presentation, it will be in the show notes. I call it show notes because I'm a podcaster. If you want to subscribe to my podcast, that'd be cool. I don't do much podcasting, I do more YouTubes. My goal at the moment is to produce one YouTube video each day. So I really value if you hit the thumbs up button because it tells Google that you like my videos, and then that will be sent out through Google. Sorry, not Google, Google as well, but YouTube. You know, when you're watching a video and it automatically starts playing another video, that's where your thumbs up actually helps put my video in front of like-minded viewers. All right, that's me. I'm done. I didn't really get too much from that. I do want to encourage you to subscribe to a couple of other YouTube channels. There's one guy called Ponzi Hater. His username is all one. There's Project Frugal, and there's also Rob Woolley, which has done his very first HyperVerse video today. So it's really good to see other YouTubers on the bandwagon. Obviously, there's a lot of other YouTubers out there who are also producing videos, but most of them are actually encouraging you to get involved in HyperVerse so that they get the rewards. I don't get paid for doing these videos. I get a little bit from YouTube. That's the first thing that Keith says to me. Oh, you're out there trying to build your YouTube channel so you get money. Yeah, I get a little bit of money. I think it's about $400 a month at the moment. That's not going to make a living for Danny. However, I spend a lot of time doing these videos to help prevent people from getting scammed from these dirty, disgusting scammers. Don't believe them. Do your own due diligence, as they say. And if it sounds too good to be true, it often is. I'm Danny DeHeck, and you've been listening to the Danny DeHeck YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in.